If everything was perfect, you would never learn and never grow.
Hi everyone, in this video we'll go through one short revision of straight lines. Slope is a key concept in straight lines. Now what is slope? Slope is nothing but how much steep is a line, right? This line is slanting. What is the amount of steep in it, right? Now you have this particular line. Let's take another line this way, right? Another line this way. Now all of these are straight lines and all of these are having different amount of steepness, right? Steepness or slant, right? Each of this line is having different slant. Now how do you measure the amount of slant or amount of steepness? For that you use slope. Slope is nothing but a number that determines the steepness of a line, or that determines how much is this particular line inclining, and the angle of this particular line with respect to x-axis is called as angle of inclination. This is called as angle of inclination, theta. And one more thing is, how much should you move towards the left and how much should you move upwards so that you can meet this particular line, right? How much should you move this side and how much should you move upwards will indicate slope, which means AD and CD, right? AD will tell you number of steps that you have to move from this particular axis to this particular line to meet this particular line, and CD will tell you the distance that I have to move from D to C. That is, from D you want to meet this particular line. So what is the distance? That is CD, and this is AD. Now if you look at this closely, this is nothing but opposite side. If this is angle of inclination, if this is theta, then opposite by adjacent. Opposite by adjacent is nothing but tan theta. So, and slope is also tan theta itself. You can obtain slope by dividing the opposite side by adjacent side. AD by CD will give you slope. So basically this again tells you how many steps I have to move towards the left to reach this particular line, and how many steps do I have to move upwards to meet this particular line. And slope also helps to identify what is the steepness of each of the straight lines, right? This has a different steepness, this has a different steepness, and this has a different steepness. Now how do you determine which is more steep or which is less? How do you compare? That's where slope is used. Now another important concept in straight lines is parallel lines and perpendicular lines. In case of parallel lines, when you have two lines parallel to each other, the slope will be same. Slope will be same. Say for example, these two are parallel lines. Slope of this line will be same as slope of this line. Now in case you have perpendicular line, this is one line AB, this is one line CD. Now when you have two lines and one is perpendicular to the other, then the slope would be defined as reciprocal with a negative sign. So slope of AB is M1, right? And slope of CD is M2. Then M2 becomes reciprocal of M1 with an opposite sign. Basically it becomes a negative reciprocal. Now let's find slope of line joining 2 points. Let there be 2 points A and B with coordinates x1, y1 and x2, y2. Now I need to find the slope of AB, right? I need to find slope of AB. Now how do we find slope? It's nothing but opposite by adjacent side, nothing but tan theta actually. So now we'll assume that the angle of inclination is theta. So we'll assume that the angle is theta, right? And this is a right angle triangle, right? We are just extending one line from B, a straight line in perpendicular direction, right? And there is another line from A, both of them meet at point P. Now if I have to find the slope of AB, then it is nothing but BP by AP. BP by AP. Now what is BP? What is length of BP and length of AP? Now we know the coordinates of A is x1, y1. What does it mean? Coordinates of A is x1, y1 means on the x side, on the x side coordinate is this entire length is x1, and on the y side you have y1. So this distance is y1, right? This point. Now similarly, if you look at point B, what does x2 mean? x2 is nothing but this distance. This distance is x2. And what is y2? y2 is nothing but it will go till x-axis, this distance. So let's call it r. This br is y2. So using these two coordinates, I can find bp and ap. How? From this point till this point, it is y2. But I need only bp, right? So br is y2, but I need only bp. What is bp? And I also know pr. This pr is y1. This one, y1, right? So I know this distance and I know this entire distance. So I can find bp. What is bp? This bp would be this entire br minus this particular line. Let's call this as s. So bp would be br minus as, right? br minus as, or I can say pr also. pr, both have same length, right? The distance from a to s is same as distance from p to r, right? So now what is br? br is y2. What is as? y1. y2 minus y1. So this is bp. Similarly, I need to find ap. ap is nothing but, I know this distance and I know this distance. If I subtract this distance from this distance, then I will get ap. If you notice, b to m will be same as p to n, right? bm is same as pn. Both are parallel lines, right? From here to here, it's the same distance, and from b to m, it's also same distance, right? And then that distance is, what is pn? It's nothing but x2. Now, what is this distance? x1, that is from a to n, right? If I take this entire line p to n and subtract, that is, if I take this entire line p to n and subtract a to n, I'll get this portion. I'll get ap. A to n is x coordinate, x1. So now I'll substitute. Instead of bp, I can put y2 minus y1. Instead of ap, I can put x2 minus x1. This becomes a slope of AB, right? So when you have a line and 2 points are given, you can determine the slope using this particular formula, which is nothing but y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Let's take an example. Find the slope of the line joining points A and B, where A is 3 minus 2 and B is minus 2 and 1. So you have A, which is 3 points and minus 2. So this is A, 3 and minus 2, and this is B, minus 2 and 1. Now you have to find slope of this line. So we'll use the formula. Slope is nothing but y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, which is nothing but, let's take this as x1 y1 and let's take this as x2 y2. So it will be 1 minus of minus 2 by x2, that is minus 2 by x2 minus x1, which is 3, this one, right? So this will be 1 plus 2, 3 and minus 5. Slope is minus 3 by 5. So this is the slope. Now say if I want to find equation of line in slope point form. We saw the slope in 2-point form, right? We saw slope in 2-point form. Now we just need to find equation of straight line. So what we will do, we'll use the same formula and come up with equation. Equation is nothing but a general form where you have x and y coordinates, right? It's just a general form. So now assume the 2 points are A and P. P is some general point, x and y, and A is a specific point, x1, y1, right? Now we found, whenever we have to find the equation, you need to have x and y in it because it's a general form. We are not putting any values for this xy. It is just a general form, right? And you assume that there is a point given, specific point given. we'll use the same 2-point formula. We had x1, y1 and x2, y2, right? But here we have only x1, y1 and general form xy. The equation was nothing but y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. So instead of y2, x2, we'll put the general form, right? We'll put y and x, this general point, y and x, and this will be y1 and x1. Nothing but y minus y1 by x minus x1. So we don't have y2, x2 like the earlier case. Instead of y2, x2, we'll have y and x, because we want to get an equation. And in equation, it has to be always in a general form. So we just replace and we get equation of line in slope point form. Now let's take an example. Determine the equation of line passing through -1, -2, passing through point, and slope is given as 4/7. We'll use that slope formula. Slope is nothing but y minus y1 by x minus x1. See, you don't have to remember separate formulas, right? It's nothing but 2-point formula itself, right? But instead of y2, you're putting y and x. And instead of y1, you're putting whatever point is given in the question. y1 is -2 and x1 is -1. So let's substitute y1 is -2, x minus x1 is -1. So you'll get y plus 2 by x plus 1. And slope is given as 4/7. So if I simplify this, I'll get 4 into x plus 1 is equal to 7 into y plus 2. This is nothing but 4x plus 4, 7y plus 14. I'll get all of this side. So it will be 4x minus 7y plus 4 minus 14 is equal to 0. Because I'm shifting everything this side, you are left with 0 here. So you'll get 4x minus 7y minus 10 is equal to 0. So this is the equation of the line. Now similarly, if I have to find equation of line in 2-point form, how do I find equation of line in 2-point form? Right, this is the formula for 2-point form. Now how do we get this? You have a and b. B is x2, y2. A is x1, y1. So you have 2 points here. Okay, and then you also have another point P, right? You want to form an equation, right? So there has to be a general point, a generic point with x and y. Only then you can find the equation. One thing we'll have to remember is slope of AP is same as slope of AB, right? Basically, when you have a straight line, no matter how many points you have, the slope between this and this, between this and this, between this and this, between this and this is going to be same. Slope is not going to change, right? Like this. If I have how many ever points, since it's a straight line, slope is not going to change, right? Slope between AB is going to be same as between B and C, same as C and D, D and E, right? And or you can take A and E, B and D, C and E, any combination, any point in a straight line, right? The slope is going to be same. So you can actually try it out in a graph. If you draw a graph, you draw a straight line like this, and you can take numerous points, keep drawing, keep measuring slope for every point like this, and you will see that slope of every line between those points is going to be same, right? So if I have points like this, it means slope of AP is same as slope of AB. They've given 2 points A and B, right? And there is another point P, So the slope of AB will be same as slope of AP. So I can say slope of AB is equal to slope of AP. Now what is slope of AB? 2 points are given, right? x1, y1, x2, y2. So it's nothing but y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. This is the slope. And what is slope of AP? Slope of AP? Y minus y1 by x minus x1. AP would be this y minus y1 by x minus x1. This will give you slope of AP, right? So since both are equal, this becomes the equation of line in 2-point form. See, it's told as 2-point form, but there'll be 3 points, because anytime you have to generalize or find an equation, you need to have a point x and y. Only then the equation will be generalized, right? So you have point x and y, and then you have 2 points. So let's take this particular example. Let's take equation of line passing through these 2 points. We'll take this as x1, y1, x2, y2. So we'll use the formula y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 is equal to y minus y1 by x minus x1. So y2 is 2, minus of minus 4, x2 is minus 6, minus of x1 which is 0, equal to y and x I leave like that. Y minus y1 is minus 4 and x1 is 0. So now this will become 2 plus 4 which is 6 by minus 6, y plus 4 by x. So this will become minus 1 here. So minus x, I'm moving this here. So minus 1 into x, which is minus x, is equal to y plus 4, right? Which is nothing but I'll move x this side. So it will be x plus y plus 4. We'll get 0 here because I'm moving x this side. Nothing but x plus y plus 4 is equal to 0. So this is the equation. So few more concepts on equation of straight lines. What is equation of x-axis, right? So x-axis means you have the point on the x-axis, right? The point is somewhere here on the x-axis, which indicates there is no y coordinate, right? Because the point is on the x-axis, there is no y coordinate. There is no y coordinate, which means y is equal to 0, right? You don't see there is any y coordinate, so y becomes 0. So what is the equation of x-axis? What is the equation of x-axis? Nothing but y is equal to 0. So just the reverse. Equation of x-axis is going to be y is equal to 0. Similarly, equation of y-axis would be x is equal to 0. So if I have any point on y-axis, I don't get x coordinate. There is no x coordinate. So it's going to be x is equal to 0. Now what happens if I have a parallel line to x-axis? Say I have this parallel line L. Now what is the equation of this line? Equation of L. What is equation of L? This L is parallel to x. This L is parallel to x-axis, which means the equation is going to be y is equal to something, right? Since the line is parallel to x-axis, equation should be y is equal to something. Now y is nothing but, let's assume the distance from this to this is h, right? From this particular line, the distance to x-axis is h. The y coordinate, what is the y coordinate here? It's h only, right? Right? If you look at this particular line L, what is the y coordinate? This distance, which is we are assuming as h. So it will be y is equal to h. Now on the opposite side, say I have line L1. This is parallel to y-axis. This is parallel to y-axis. So the equation will be opposite, x is equal to. Now let's assume the distance here is h. From y-axis to this particular line L1, what is the x coordinate? What is the x coordinate? Say assume it's h. So it's going to be x is equal to h. The x coordinate is going to be h. So let's solve this problem. Find equation of line parallel to y-axis at a distance of 2 units to the right of it. So I have y-axis, x-axis. To the right of this y-axis, I have a line. To the right, I have a line. To the right, so this is right side. And how many units? 2 units. From here to, from this axis to the line, it's 2 units. So what's the equation? It's parallel to y-axis, so opposite, x. X is equal to, number of units is 2. This is the equation, right? Whenever you see right, left, it is nothing but x. And whenever you see above or below, it is y. So let's look at next example. Find equation of line parallel to y-axis at a distance of 4 by 7 units to left of it, to left of y-axis. This is towards the left, right? And 4 by 7 units. This is the distance between y-axis and the line. 4 by 7 units. 4 by 7 units. So what will be the equation? Again, it's going to be x is equal to 4 by 7 to the left. This is negative x-axis. The values here are -1, -2, -3, all negative. So it's 4 by 7 units to the left. So it's going to be -4 by 7. So equation is -4 by 7, right? Or I can shift S7 here. So it will be 7x minus 4. Or I can say 7x plus 4 is equal to 0. Let's take another problem. Find equation of line parallel to x-axis at a distance of 5 units below the x-axis. So this is my x-axis. Below the x-axis I have a line and it's 5 units. So since it's below the x-axis, that means it's negative y. So 5 units below, that means it's going to be -5. So since it is x-axis, equation will start from y. Y is equal to, what is the number of units? 5 units below. So it's -5. Similarly here, find equation of line at a distance of 5 units above the x-axis. Above the line is above the x-axis and the distance is 5 units, right? This is positive because above the x-axis y is positive. Equation will be y is equal to something. What is this something? 5 units. Above the x-axis y is positive, below the x-axis y is negative. So it's going to be y is equal to 5. Now we look at another topic, finding equation of line in slope intercept form. What is intercept? Right? Anytime a line cuts the x-axis or y-axis, now you see this particular line. This is cutting the y-axis at some point. And this is also cutting the x-axis at some point, right? Wherever it is cutting the axis, only axis we have to see, x-axis or y-axis, that becomes the intercept. That cutting is called as intercept. What is the value of that y coordinate? Say we assume it to be c. That is at a distance of c units from x-axis. At this distance, the line is cutting the y-axis. So coordinate would be 0, c, right? There is no x coordinate here. It's only y value. So y is c. So now, how do you find the equation of line in slope intercept form? Again, we'll use the same slope formula. Slope is equal to y by x, right? Opposite by adjacent, right? Then we learnt slope in 1-point form, which is nothing but y minus y1 by x minus x1. Then we learnt slope in 2-point form, right? Which is nothing but y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. And same thing, same formulas, using the same formula, we also came with equation for both. Equation for line joining 2 points, equation in 1-point form, right? Same formula we use and we come up with equation, that's all. Now here you have slope intercept form. Again, this is no different from these. It is same formula is used, but instead of this y1 and x1, we use intercept. What is intercept? Ultimately, it is nothing but a coordinate itself, right? It is cutting at some point, which means it's another point itself, but we call it intercept because it is cutting this particular line, and that coordinate is called as intercept. Only this coordinate is called intercept. So, and it is y-intercept because it's cutting the y-axis, so it's y-intercept. So suppose it's cutting x-axis and the distance is d, for example, right? Say there is no y coordinate here, right? So it will be d comma 0. X-axis is d. So what is the formula that we will use for slope intercept? Again, we are talking about 1 point, right? So we'll use 1-point formula. What is 1-point formula? It is y minus y1 by x minus x1. What is y1 here? Y1 is nothing but we are calling y1 is intercept here. Y-intercept, right? And what is that y-intercept? C. This y coordinate is C. right? And x minus, what is x coordinate here? 0. Nothing but y minus c by x, and slope is m, right? This is nothing but mx is equal to y minus c, or I can shift c this side, so it will be mx plus c is equal to y. Nothing but, let me rearrange, y is equal to mx plus c. This is the equation when you have y-intercept. Now similarly, I'll modify this one and say x-intercept is there, right? X-intercept, say I'll say this is d, right? Then the coordinate would be d comma 0, because the point is on the x-axis, because this line is cutting the x-axis. This line is cutting the x-axis at some point d, right? At some point d on the x-axis. There is no y coordinate, so d comma 0 is the coordinate here. Now the same equation, I'll put d comma 0, right? So same equation I'll use. So I'll get slope is equal to y minus y1 by x minus x1. So y, what is y1 here? I can use this 1 point formula because there is only 1 point here. I'm talking about 1 point. So y1 here is 0, and x minus x1 is d, and slope is m. So I'll get mx minus md is equal to y. So this will be the equation when you have x-intercept. Now what if you have both the intercepts? That is, if you have a line which is cutting x-axis and y-axis. Now how do you find the equation of this particular line? Now let's call these points as A and B. Here it's cutting the y-axis. So basically x will be 0 and y will assume as B. And similarly here, this is cutting the x-axis. So x-axis will assume that this is A, right? This distance is A, and there is no y coordinate, so it will be 0. Now, so you have two intercepting points here, A and B. Ultimately, these two are points. 2 points are there, A and B. We will use equation in 2-point form. Equation in 2-point form. What is the formula? y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 is equal to y minus y1 by x minus x1. Now, straightforward. We have 2 points. So, let's call this as x1, y1, x2, y2. Let's substitute. So y2 would be b, y1 is 0, x2 is 0, x1 is a, is equal to y, y1 is 0, x minus x1 is a. This is nothing but b by minus a is equal to y by x minus a. I'll shift this here and this one here. It will be b into x minus a is equal to minus a into y. bx minus ab is equal to minus ay. Let's move this here, so it will become ab. So bx plus ay is equal to ab. Now we'll divide the entire equation by ab, right? So I'll say bx by ab plus ay by ab is equal to ab by ab. So this will become 1, and here b and b, a and a will get cancelled. So you'll get x by a plus y by b is equal to 1. So this is the equation in intercept form. Simple. Now remember one thing. A is x-intercept, b is y-intercept, right? A and b, a is x-intercept because it is cutting the x-axis at a distance of a, and b is y-intercept because it is cutting y-axis at a distance of b units. Now let's take one problem. Find the equation of line whose intercepts are 3 and minus 4 on the x-axis and y-axis. So on x-axis it is 3. What is the alphabet we use for x-axis? For x-intercept, it's A. And on y-axis it is minus 4. It's nothing but B. right? So we'll use this formula now. X by a plus y by b is equal to 1. X by a is 3, y by minus 4 is equal to 1. Nothing but, let me take the LCM. It's going to be 12. So this will go 4 times. This will go 3 times. 4 times, 3 times. So 4x plus 3y is equal to, here it is, minus, is equal to 1. Now I'll shift 12 here. So it will be 4x minus 3y is equal to 1 into 12. It's 4x minus 3y is equal to 12. So this is the equation. So what did we learn so far? We first saw slope, right, which is opposite side by adjacent side. Nothing but y-axis, y coordinate by x coordinate, y by x, tan theta. Then we saw slope represented using one point, y1 and x1. So same formula you are representing in a point form. So you'll have here minus y1 by minus x1. Same formula is getting extended. Then equation, same formula you use, you'll get equation. Slope in 2-point form, right? Again, you have, since it's 2 points, you have this one slope and then you have this one slope, right? Using 2 points and using 1 point, right? So basically same formula, y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 is equal to y minus y1 by x minus x1. Then equation, same formula we'll use to get the equation. Then finally, we saw equation in intercept form. We used this 2-point formula and we substituted the intercepts a and b, and we finally got x by a plus y by b is equal to 1. Now if you note, all these things are coming from this particular main equation. Main equation is slope equation, slope formula, which is y by x or opposite by adjacent. Using this, we kept on deriving other forms, 1-point form, 2-point form, intercept form, right? So if you remember this main formula, you can keep on extending it and remembering all the other forms. Now let's look at a few problems related to all the topics that we discussed just now. First one is, find the slope of line joining the points. So you have 2 points and you have to find the slope. So the moment you have 2 points, you'll have to use 2-point slope form, right? Basically, the slope should have 2 points in it. So let's call it as x1, y1, x2, y2. So you should take the formula where you can put both of these point values. So substitute the point coordinates here. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. When you substitute, you're going to get slope. M is nothing but slope. So slope is minus 1. Now another problem. Again, 2 points are given. The moment 2 points are given, and if you have to find the slope, then you have to use this particular formula, right? y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. So again, once you substitute these points, you're going to get the slope. Now we look at a slightly different problem. If the line joining the points, these 2 points are there, and if it makes an angle of 45 degree with x-axis, find k. So you have 2 points here, 6, 4 and 8, k. Now this line is making an angle of 45 degree with x-axis. So this is the x-axis. Now you have 2 points. This coordinate, y coordinate is k. It's not given. We have to find this y coordinate. We have to find the value of k. So angle is given. Now tan 45 is slope. What is slope? Actually, slope is nothing but tan theta. Here we have 45. So tan 45. Slope is nothing but tan 45. So now tan 45 is 1. So you get the value of slope. There are 2 points here. So use the 2-point slope form. y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. You know the value of slope and you substitute the coordinates and then you'll get the value of k. K is 6. Next one. If the slope of the line joining, again 2 points are there. The slope is given. You have to find a. A is there in this coordinate, right? Y coordinate. So again, since slope is given, directly substitute slope. Slope is 7 by 2, right? Then substitute the coordinates. This a we can find out. Once you simplify, you can find out the value of A. Next one, if the slope of the line AB is 3 by 2 and the line CD is perpendicular to AB, then find slope of CD. First, it's better if you draw this, because if you draw the lines, then it will be easy to visualize. So there is line AB, right? Draw a line AB. The slope of this line is given 3 by 2. So let's assume slope of AB is M1, right? Slope of AB is M1, which is 3 by 2. Then there is another line CD, which is perpendicular to AB. CD is perpendicular to AB, means CD is at 90 degree. CD is 90 degree to AB. Now you'll have to find slope of CD. Slope of this line you have to find. Let's call it as M2, right? Now, we'll have to remember those two important properties, right? When slopes of perpendicular lines, right? The product of slopes of perpendicular lines is -1. That is, when you multiply the slopes of the perpendicular lines, you will get -1. One slope M1 is given, right? We have to find slope M2, right? So now M1 is given, M2 has to be found out, and you know when you multiply both the slopes, you're going to get -1 whenever there are perpendicular lines. So now when you simplify this, you will get slope of this CD. Now another one, using slopes, prove that these points, there are 3 points here, you have to show that these are collinear using slope concept, right? Collinear means the points are on the same line, right? That is the meaning of collinear. So 3 points are given, right? Let's assume point P, point Q, and point R, right? 3 points are there. We have to show that it is collinear. How can we show it's collinear? The slope of all these lines should be same. So if I take slope of PQ, say this is M1, then I take slope of QR, say M2, both the slopes, if they are equal, then you can say that it is collinear, right? When the points are on the same line, the slope is going to be same. So now you find slope of PQ, take these 2 points PQ, use the 2-point slope form, right? Substitute both the points P and Q and you'll get slope. Slope of QR, again take point Q, point R, substitute these coordinates, then you'll get slope. Now if you observe, both the slopes have same values. Therefore, we can say, since slope of PQ is equal to slope of QR, points PQR are collinear. Now remember one thing, you are using slope concept. You could also prove that the points are collinear using distance formula. Right? So there is another method by which you can prove that the points are collinear using distance formula. So you have to observe the question carefully. If they say using slopes, then you have to use slope, right? Now another problem, find K if AB is parallel to CD. So basically there are 2 lines, A, B, C, D. They've given all of these points, A point, B point, C point, and D point, right? Now they have told that AB is parallel to CD. So you have to remember, this is very important. Slopes of parallel lines are always equal, right? And slopes of perpendicular lines, when you multiply, you'll get -1. But in case of parallel lines, it's going to be equal. If you say this is M1, this is M2, slope of AB is M1, slope of CD is M2, both the slopes will be equal if the lines are parallel. So now they've told that lines are parallel, but you have to find this K coordinate. So use this property, slope of AB is equal to slope of CD, because lines are parallel. Here, what is slope of AB? Y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, correct? Slope of AB is, say, M1. Slope of CD is equal to M2. And slope of M1 is given by this 2-point slope form. Slope of M2 is also given. Both are same. Both M1 is equal to M2. Therefore, this 2 will also be same. Since slopes are same, these two parts will also be same. So Now when you simplify, you'll get the value of k. So k is 3. Coming to 8th problem, show that you have again 4 points here. You have to show that these form the vertices of a parallelogram using slope concept. Now, assume that there are 4 points A, B, C, D, and this is a parallelogram, right? What is a parallelogram? It's a polygon where the parallel sides are equal. So, AB is equal to CD, AD is equal to BC, parallel sides or the opposite sides. The opposite sides are equal. And also they are parallel. That's why it's called as parallelogram. It is parallel. So what is the using slope concept? Slopes are equal for parallel lines. So here AB is parallel to CD. So slope of AB is equal to slope of CD. Right? So you can take first find slope of AB. First find slope of AB. Right? Using this 2-point form. You'll get 1 by 3. Then take slope of CD. You'll get 1 by 3. See, now you can see, since the slopes are same, you can say these two sides are parallel. This is not enough. You'll also have to find out if these two sides, AD and BC, are also parallel. That is, they should have equal slopes. Slope of AD should be equal to slope of BC. So let's find that. So slope of BC, slope of AD. So again, it's same. So now you can see that from equation 1, 2, 3, 4, we can say that opposite sides are parallel, the slopes are equal, therefore the given points form the vertices of a parallelogram. Now one thing to notice here is slope concept. You can prove the same problem using distance formula. You can use distance formula and prove this particular polygon is a parallelogram. But here they have specified using slope concept. And second, very important thing to notice is when you are writing this coordinates A, B, C, D, follow an order. A, B, C, D. It should be continuous. A, B, C, D. This order you follow, right? Don't make it like this. Don't make it like this. A, B, C, D. Don't do this, right? It should be in one direction, either clockwise or anti-clockwise, right? Either you follow this direction or follow this direction. A, B, C, D. This way, continuous, right? Because if you interchange, you may not get equal slopes, right? That's why whatever vertices they have given, put it in one direction. Next one, show that the points form a right angle triangle using slope concept. Now assume that this is a right angle triangle A, B and C. The points are given. How do you show that the triangle is right angle? It should have a 90 degree. One of the angles is 90 degree. What does it mean? That AB is perpendicular to BC here. Since there is 90 degree here, it means that AB is perpendicular to BC. It's perpendicular. And whenever you have two lines perpendicular to each other, slopes, the product of the slopes is going to be -1. So if you can prove that the product of these two slopes is -1, this will indicate that this is a right angle triangle. So what you have to do is find slope of AB, right? Again, use 2-point form. You have A and B coordinates, substitute, you'll get 2 by 11. Then find slope of BC, you'll get -1/2. You have to find slope of all three lines because you don't know which is right angled, right? The triangle can also be like this. The triangle can also be like this, A, B and C, right? You can have right angle from ACB or ABC, right? So we don't know which is the actual, we don't know how the right angle is here. So find the slope, that's why find the slope of all three lines, AB, BC and AC. And for any two lines, you should get slopes in such a way that if you multiply, say for example, if you multiply -1/2 with 2, when you multiply -1/2 with 2, you'll get -1, which means it's perpendicular. Slope of BC into slope of AC, when you multiply, you'll get -1. -1/2 into 2 is -1. Now, therefore, we can say that given points form a right angle triangle. Now, let's take another problem. What is the value of x so that line joining these 2 points is parallel to line joining these two points. So you have two lines, right? One with x comma 2 and 11 8. The other line is with 8 comma 12 and 0 6. Now how do you, it is told that these lines are parallel. If it is parallel, it means slopes will be equal, right? M1 will be equal to M2. So again use the 2-point slope form and find the slope here, right? Similarly for second one also, you have to find the value of x. So here you have x, right? Since lines are parallel, slopes will be equal, right? So M1 should be equal to M2. M1 should be equal to M2, which means the 6 by 11 minus x should be equal to 3 by 4. So 6 by 11 minus x should be equal to 3 by 4. Then you'll get value of x, which is 3. Now we look at problems related to equation of line, right? All this while we saw problems related to finding slope of line. Now we will find problems related to equation of line. So let's look at the simplest problem. Find the equation of line parallel to x-axis and at a distance of 7 from it. Now there is a line. It's parallel to x-axis, right? This is x-axis. Parallel to this, there is a line, right? And it is at a distance of 7 units, right? So distance between the x-axis and the line is 7 units. Now what will be the equation? So you just have to write y is equal to 7. Y is equal to 7. Now you might be wondering as to why we should write y is equal to 7. What is the equation of a line in the slope form, right? In the equation of a line in the slope form is nothing but y is equal to mx plus c, right? Now y, what is slope? Slope of this line? Slope of this line is 0. Why? It is parallel to x-axis. It's parallel to x-axis. And slope of x-axis is 0. See, what is slope? It is nothing but the degree of slant, degree of steepness, right? If there is a slanting line, right, when you're comparing to x-axis and y-axis, this line is slanting. X and y are straight lines, but this line is slanting. To measure the degree of slant or steepness, you use slope. Now, in this particular line, there is no slant, there is no steepness. That's why slope is 0 here, right? So if slope is 0, 0 into x becomes 0. Then what is the c? C is nothing but y-intercept, right? It's nothing but y-intercept. Now, if you look at this, this is c. This is c, right? This distance is c, right? So you can put this as 7. So y becomes 7. Now next one. You have to find the equation of line which is parallel to y-axis at a distance of 5 units to left of it. Now there is a line, right? This is the line which is parallel to y-axis and the distance is 5 units to the left, right? To the left means it's all negative values, right? So it's nothing but minus 5. So here x is equal to minus 5. You just have to write x is equal to minus 5 because this minus 5 is in the x coordinate. Now let's look at the next problem. Find equation of line passing through a point and the slope is also given, point is also given. You have to find the equation of line. So you'll have to use this particular formula, which is 1 point slope equation, right? 1 point slope equation form. Basically there is 1 point here. And you should remember one thing, when you're finding equation of line, you should have x and y coordinates. This is just to generalize, right? To generalize, you need to put x and y as is. And then here you have x1, y1. This is nothing but the point that is given in the question. So 4 and 3 are given as the points. So you can consider this as x1, y1. So instead of x1, y1, put this 4 and 3 here. And leave y and x as it is. Slope is given to be 2. So this is slope. So when you solve this, you'll get the equation of this form, right? So it's easy to remember the formula, right? It's very easy. Whenever you say to form an equation, you should have x and y in it. And then there'll be either another coordinate like x1, y1 or x2, y2, right? There will be coordinates like this. So we'll have to use these coordinates along with x and y, and that's when you will get the equation of line. Now third one, find the equation of line passing through 1 point 3, 5 and making an angle of 45 degree. Angle 45 degree means
That means you can find out slope. You can find out slope. What is slope? Tan theta. What is tan? What is theta here? 45. Tan 45, which is 1. So you know the slope now. Then with positive direction of x-axis. So the line is passing through one point. Let's draw this. There is a line, right? There is a line that is passing through this particular point 3, 5, and it is making an angle of 45 degree with positive direction of x-axis. Positive means it's on the right side. Positive x, not on the left, right? This is left side. So it's on the positive direction of x-axis. So now we can find out slope. Slope is 1. So we'll use point slope form equation, right? You have x and y, then you have the point coordinates x1, y1. Substitute 3 and 5 here, 3 and 5 here, and you know the slope, which is tan 45, which is 1. Now you simplify, you'll get this equation. The fourth problem, find equation of line passing through one point and it's also perpendicular to line which is joining 2 points. So there is a line that is joining these 2 points. So there is a line that is joining these 2 points, 0, 0. So this is 0, 0, right? This is origin. This is 0, 0. And the another point is 7, 2. So there are 2 points here, right? Let's call it as P and this is O. There is a line joining these 2 points, right? Let's call this as L1. And this line is perpendicular to this line, right? You need to find the equation of line. You need to find the equation of line which is perpendicular to this line. So now you draw a perpendicular line here. Say it's L2. It is passing through 3 minus 1. So this line, you can extend this line, right? This line L2 is passing through one point, say Q, which is 3 minus 1. Now you have to find the equation of L2. You have to find equation of L2. So how can you do that? You will have to use the perpendicular slope formula, which is m1 into m2 is equal to minus 1. If you take the slopes of perpendicular lines, right, you should get minus 1. So first we'll find slope of line 1, right? Let's find out slope of line 1. What is slope of line 1? Two coordinates are given, 0, 0 and 7, 2. Using this coordinates, now you use 2-point slope form. 2-point slope form. See, there are 2 coordinates here. There are 2 points here. So use 2 points. y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Substitute both the points, 7, 2 and 0, 0 here. So you'll get the slope. Now, let's find slope of line 2 also. What is the formula? You will have to use 1-point slope formula, right? We'll have to use 1-point slope formula. Now here slope is equal to y minus y1 by x minus x1. You have the coordinates, right? Which coordinates you're going to use for this? You have to use this 3 minus 1 because you have to use the point which is on the line, right? You have to find the equation of line 2. So you will have to use the point that is on the line, 3 minus 1. This line passes through 3 minus 1. So you'll have to use this point. So substitute 3 and minus 1 here. But you don't have m. You don't know m, right? That is the reason to find m of L2, we will have to find slope of L1. If you can find slope of L1, then you can get slope of L2 because we know that m1 into m2 is equal to minus 1. So we'll find slope m1 here. We have found the slope m1. Now easily you can find m2, right? Slope of m1 is 2 by 7 into m2 is equal to minus 1. So what is m2? m2 will be, shift this here, so it will be minus 1 into 7 by 2, which is minus 7 by 2. Now you substitute minus 7 by 2 here and this coordinate, you get the equation, right? Get it in this form. You rearrange the terms, simplify the terms, and then you have to get it in this form. This becomes the equation of line. Now find the equation of line joining 2 points. Again, use the 2-point form. So let's carefully observe slope of 2-point form, right? Slope in 2-point form is m is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus 1 x1. This is slope. Now if you have to find equation in 2-point form, I'll have to write y minus y1 by x minus x1 is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Now this portion is going to remain same, right? Here instead of slope, you're going to put this generalized equation x and y with one of the coordinates y1, x1. So this you have to remember the difference, right? What is the difference of 2-point form in slope format and in equation format? Whenever you're finding equation, it has to have x and y so that it becomes a general form, right? So you should always have x and y, and then you put one coordinate x1, y1. So now you substitute x1, y1, y2, y1, x2, x1. Then simplify this, rearrange the terms, and this is how the equation will be. In this format, you have to get the equation. Now another problem, find the equation of line joining these 2 points. Again, same concept. Use this equation, substitute, right? Assume this is x1, y1, x2, y2. Substitute the points, right? And rearrange the terms. You'll get this equation. 7th one, find equation of line passing through, there's one point given, and it is cutting intercepts which are equal in magnitude and opposite in sign. Now, you first draw the diagram so that it becomes clear. Now, there is a line that is passing through one point 5, 2. And cutting off intercepts. Intercepts means what? It's cutting x-axis or y-axis or both, right? Intercept means it's cutting x-axis or y-axis or both. That is what is meant by intercepts. Now, the intercepts are equal in magnitude. Now, this wherever this line, let's call this as L, this line is cutting y-axis and x-axis. Both are equal in magnitude. Magnitude means the number is same. This distance and this distance is same. That is the x-intercept. This is called as y-intercept. This is called as x-intercept. X-intercept means it's cutting x-axis. Y-intercept means it's cutting y-axis. So this is y-intercept. This is x-intercept. Both have same values. It's equal in magnitude. That means values are same. But opposite in sign. That means one is positive, one is negative. Right? We don't know which one, but one is positive, one is negative. So now, the moment you see intercept, you will have to use intercept formula. See, what is the intercept formula? X by a plus y by b is equal to 1. Now remember, it's equation. Equation means it has to have x and y. Equation means it has to have x and y. Intercept means it has to have a and b. A and b should be there. So you can easily remember this equation. X by a plus y by b is equal to 1. Now, they have told that x-intercept is equal to minus y-intercept because intercepts are equal. The values are same, but it's opposite in sign. So that means x-intercept is nothing but a, y-intercept is b. One is negative, one is positive, right? A is equal to minus b. That's all. One is negative, one is positive. Now what you do here, instead of a, we can put minus b here, and here we put b. Now, when we solve this equation, you will get this kind of a format, this kind of an expression. Minus x plus y is equal to b. Now, we cannot have b in the equation, right? We have to find the value of b. It has to have some value. You can't have b here. You can have x and y. You can have x and y. You should have x and y, but you can't have b. You should have some number. Now, how do you find the value of b? B is nothing but y-intercept. How do you find the value of b? This is where you use this particular point, 5, 2. 5, 2 is given. So what you will do, you will take this equation, substitute this point 5, 2. So whenever you see a point on the line, so there is 5, 2 on the line, this point has to be substituted in this equation. So substitute point 5, 2 in the equation. When you do that, you will get the value of b. Now you take the same equation here and instead of b, put minus 3. Don't substitute x and y value. Leave it as it is because the equation should have x and y. But b should be replaced with a number. So you will get here minus 3 and this becomes the final equation. Now, next one. If a straight line cuts the coordinate axis means x-axis and y-axis. If the straight line cuts, so there is a straight line, right? Let's call this as L. And this straight line cuts both coordinate axis, y-axis and x-axis, at A and B. Where it is cutting? At A and B. This is where it is cutting the axis, right? And if 3 comma 2 is the midpoint, there is a point 3 comma 2 which is midpoint of this line AB. So you put 3 comma 2 which is a midpoint of AB. Find the equation of this AB now. You have to find this equation. You have a point, right? Using this point, you have to find the equation. Now, this intercept or cuts, right? This word cuts tells you'll have to use intercept form. You'll have to use intercept form or cuts, right? So x by a plus y by b is 1. How do we find this intercept values now? We need to find the value of a and b. How do we find? This is where this point comes to use. 3, 2. Now, the midpoint between A and B, this is the midpoint. So, what will be A? What will be B? Simple, right? This is a midpoint. So, what will happen? Double the x coordinate. 3. You double this and double this also. So, it's going to be 6, comma 4. Say, you have this line, right? This is 3 and 2. So, this is x-axis. This is 3 here. Right? Now, this is the midpoint here. If this is the midpoint, then the actual value will be 2 times. Right? That means there is only if you have a line like this. If you have a line like this, this becomes the midpoint. If this is the midpoint, then you will have equal measurements on both the sides, right? If this is 3, then this side also it will be 3. So it's going to be 6. So this y value is nothing but y-intercept. This 4 is y-intercept and this 6 that you have got here, this is x-intercept. So you put a value as 6, b value as 4. Simplify, rearrange the terms and you get the equation. Now next one. A line passes through 3, 4 and the position of the line between the axis is divided at that point in the ratio 1:2. Find the equation. There is a line. Let's first draw. This is the line. It passes through a point 3, 4. This is the point. There is a line. Let's call it AB. And the portion of the line between the axis. So between the axis means this is y, this is axis. Now, the portion of the line, that is the line between the axis A and B, right? Between the axis, between y and between x, this portion of the line is divided at the point. At this point, this line gets divided. Basically, this point is dividing this line in the ratio 1:2. That means this portion is 1, this portion is 2. In the ratio 1:2. Using this ratio and using this point, you have to find the equation of this line. Now, how should we do this? We will have to use, see, axis is there, division is there. This means that you'll have to use intercept form, right? Because it's telling it's between the axis, which means it is cutting the axis, which means you have to use intercept form. Now, only thing is we need to find out A and B here. Now, we know the point 3, 4. In general, this A is x-intercept and this B is y-intercept. So, in general, this coordinate will be 0, b, right? Because here there is no x coordinate, so it is 0. And y, we assume it's b. We assume this distance is b. And here also, there is no y coordinate, so y is 0. And we assume this distance is a. It's just an assumption, right? We are putting a here and we are putting b here. So always remember, in the intercept form, you put here this coordinate as 0, b and this coordinate as a, 0 because it's on the axis. Now, how do you find the actual A and B values? Because you just know the ratio and you just know the point. So you just follow this, just write what is the ratio? 1 is to 2, right? Write 1, 2, 1, 2. And then you have to fill the coordinates here, right? Just first put just put the ratios first. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ratio is 1 is to 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2. These are nothing but coordinates, right? Now here you have to put x values and y values. What you do, near the y-intercept, that is 0 comma b, assume there is 1, and 2 is near x-intercept, that is near a. Put it in this order, 1 here and 2 here. That means near b you have 1, near a you have 2. So what is b? 0 comma b, right? The coordinate of b is 0 comma b. So put 1 1 here, and here you put 2 2. So what you will do now, you'll in this coordinate you put the x values, only x values. So what are the x values here? X values are 0 and a, 0 and a. So populate 0 and a. Here this is nothing but y values. This is x, this is y. So what are y values here? B and 0, b and 0. So b and 0. And then here in the denominator you have to add the ratio 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2. Then you simplify. Now you will have to equate this to this point 3 comma 4. You will have to equate. So this point 2a comma 3 is equal to 3, b comma 3 is equal to 4. Right? Equate it like this and get the a and b values. What is a and b? Intercept values. Now substitute a and b here in this equation, and then you'll get the equation. Right? So substitute a and b here, simplify it, and you'll get the equation. Now let's look at another one. Find the equation of straight line which passes through the point and is such that the portion of it between the coordinate axis is divided by the point in the ratio. Now it's the same problem. Let's try to draw the figure, right? Let's first draw it. So you have coordinate axis, right? They've put coordinate axis. So we'll have to use intercept form. That is x by a plus y by b. You'll have to use this formula to find the equation, because they have told coordinate axis, right? And passes through point minus 5 comma 4. So there is a line which passes through. So let's draw a line. Passes through some point which is minus 5 comma 4. Let's call this as a and b. It's cutting the axis, so we'll call this as 0 comma b. We call this as a comma 0. Now this point is dividing this line in the ratio 3 is to 2. Put 3 here. On this side you put 3, and on this side you put 2. Now let's do it. Okay, let's solve this. What you will do first, you will take this coordinates a comma 0, b 0 comma b. Put this coordinates. Now it has to be in the ratio 3 is to 2. So this will be 3, this will be 2. This will be 3, this will be 2. Remember, near b, that is near y-intercept, you put the ratio 3, right? Put when you say 3 is to 2, this portion will be 3 and this portion will be 2. So basically near b you will have 3 and for a you will have 2. Okay, follow this order. Don't make it reverse. Don't make it like this, right? Just try to remember and practice this portion. Don't make it reverse. So a, this point on the x-intercept where a is there, x-intercept, put this part of the ratio 2, and here you put 3. So what you will do first, you will put this point here minus 5 comma 4. Put this point minus 5 comma 4 here, and now you put the coordinates. So first you put the ratio 3 is to 2, right? In the same order, 3 is to 2. 3 something plus 2 something. Add up the ratio 3 plus 2. Again here 3 something plus 2 something by 3 plus 2. Now you find out what should come here. This is x coordinate, this is y coordinate. So x means you should have x values only. What are the x values here? 0 and a. 0 and a. Now here you have 3. Next to 3, you should put 0 here. And here, this x value you have to put a. here for y, this is y coordinate. So look at y coordinates. What is y coordinates? B and 0, right? Y coordinates are B and 0. So near 3 put B, near 2 put 0. So you will get 2a by 5 and 3b by 5. This is equal to minus 5 comma 4. Now equate this. 2a by 5 is equal to minus 5 and 3b by 5 is equal to 4. So now I'll get a is equal to 5. I'll take this other side. So it'll be 5 into 5 minus 25. This is 2a. Therefore a is equal to minus 25 by 2. And then b. Now I'll take this here. So 3b is equal to 5 into 4, which is 20. B will be 20 by 3. Now I'll take the intercept form of the equation. Right? This is the intercept form of the equation. So I leave x as is. Instead of a, I'll put minus 25 by 2 and y as is. And instead of b, I'll put 20 by 3. This is equal to 1. Now I can't have double division, double denominator. So I'll shift this 2 to the top. So it will become 2x by minus 25 plus 3y by 20 is equal to 1. Now I'll take the LCM. Right? When I have fractions with different denominators, I have to take the LCM. So what is the LCM of 25 and 20? 5 5s are, 5 4s are, 5 1s are, and 4 1s are. So 5 into 5, 25, 25 into 4. 100 is the LCM. Now 25 goes 4 times. So put 4, 8x, and there's minus sign here. And here 20 goes 5 times. To get 100, 20 should be multiplied with 5. 25 is 100. You have to multiply the numerator. So 3y into 5, which is 15y. This is equal to 1. So minus 8x plus 15y. I'll bring this 100 to the other side. So it will become 1 into 100, which is 100. Now I'll rearrange the terms. Right? I'll bring 100 here. Now I want to remove the negative sign. So what I'll do, I'll multiply the entire equation with minus 1. When I multiply the entire equation with minus 1, minus into minus will become plus. So 8x. Minus into plus will become minus 15y. Minus into minus will become plus. So plus 100 is equal to 0. And here it will become minus 0. This does not matter, right? So it will be 0. So this is the equation. So whenever you have ratio related problems, right? Whenever you have ratio related problems, use the intercept form. For practice this, and then other steps are easy. Now, this problem, in what ratio is the line joining the points is divided by the line joining? So there are two lines, only points are given. There is one line which is joining these 2 points. So let's draw this line. Right, there is one line which is joining these 2 points. There is also another line joining these 2 points. 6, 8 and minus 3, 2. This line is dividing. This line is, let's say, L2. This is L1. This is L2. This L2 is dividing this line. Right? It's dividing at some point here. Dividing means it's cutting actually. It's dividing here. Now you need to find the ratio. In what ratio? What portion of the line is here and what portion of the line is this side? You have to find the ratio. Let's assume the ratio is R is to 1 or K is to 1, whatever, right? We'll have to find this K. So, and the other ratio you assume as 1. You have 2 points here, 2, 3, 4, minus 5. So same thing. The earlier one we took intercepts, right? We took A, 0 and B as B 0, B. Right? We took these 2 points and we then multiplied with the ratio. Now, instead of these 2 points, I'll put the points that is given in the question. These 2 points I'll take. 2, 3, 4 minus 5. Right? Now, the first coordinate is 2, 3. Write the order. First one is 2, 3. Second one is 4 minus 5. So ratio will be reverse. Put the ratio reverse. So don't make it like this. Don't make it like this. Make it as 1 is to R. So this second coordinate will you put r, and first coordinate you put 1. Now same method, let's solve this. Let's take the point, right? We don't know what that point is. We'll just find that point. Now what did I say? First you'll have to put the ratios. R is to 1. R something plus 1 something by R plus 1. Here also R something plus 1 something by R plus 1. Now what is this something? This is x coordinate, this is y coordinate. So what you have as x values? You have 4 and 2. So near R you should have 4. So put 4. And then here near 1 you should have this x coordinate, which is 2. Now come to y coordinate. What are the y coordinates? It's minus 5 and 3. Right? Now near R you should have a y coordinate. What is it? Minus 5. And near 1 you should have a y coordinate. Near 1 you should have y coordinate, which is 3. Now you solve this. 4r plus 2 r plus 1 minus 5r plus 3 by r plus 1. Now we have got the point. So now here we have to find r, right? Only if we find r, we'll know the ratio, right? We need to find the ratio. So what we will do, slightly lengthy process. We'll have to find the, where does this point lie? It's lying on two lines. One is this line and one is this line, right? One is this line and one is this line. Now 2 points are given. So this point is there intersecting both the lines. So if you put this point in this line equation, say in this L2 equation, if you take this point and substitute in this L2 equation, you will get R, right? It's a little lengthy process, but we need to find the equation of line and substitute this point in this equation of this line, which is joining 6, 8 and minus 3, 2. Now how do you find the equation when 2 points are given? You have to use this formula, right? 2-point form. When 2 points are given, and if you have to find the equation, like I said, you should have x and y, and then you should have both the coordinates. So you substitute all this, you will get one equation here, right? Now in this equation, you put the point that we got. We got this point, right? So instead of x, you put this point. Instead of y, you put this point here. In this equation, instead of x, you put this. Instead of y, you put this, right? And then when you simplify, slightly lengthy, but if you simplify, you will get r, right? If you simplify, you will get finally r. R comes as minus 1 by 5. Minus 1 by 5 is nothing but 1:5. Ratio is 1:5. That's all. Another similar one. Find the ratio in which the line segment joining 2, 3, 4, 1 is divided by line. So here they've given line which is joining 2 points. There is a line which is joining 2 points, 2, 3, 4, 1, and it is divided. This line is divided by another line, and that line's equation is given. So another line is here. This is another line which is dividing this particular line at some point P, right? And the ratio of this portion and this portion we'll have to find out. So we'll assume it is R:1, right? We'll assume it is R:1. So you put this side as R and this side as 1, right? This side as R and this side as 1. Same approach, put R1, R1. This will be x coordinate, this will be y coordinate. Let's write these points first. 2, 3, 4, 1. So here you put R values, here you put 1 values, right? The first coordinate 2, 3. This is the first coordinate, this is the second coordinate as per the question. 2, 3 comes first, 4, 1 comes second, and the ratio you assume it as R:1. But reverse this, put 1 and R here. For 2, 3 you put 1, for 4, 1 you put R. Now x coordinate, which are the x coordinates here? 2 and 4. 2 and 4. So near 1 you put 2 and near R you put 4. Similarly here, this is y coordinate. What are the y coordinates? 3 and 1. So near 1, this is 1. Near 1 you put 3 and near R you put 1, like this. And then add the ratios r plus 1, simplify this, you will get this point, right? You will get this point. This line's equation is given. This point P is lying on this equation. So when you substitute this point coordinates, when you take the x and y coordinates of this point and substitute in this equation, you will get the value of r. Whenever there is a point on a line, if you substitute the values of the point, it will satisfy the equation. Whatever x and y values you put, you will get it will be equal to 0. When you simplify this, whatever x and y values you put, it will be equal to 0, right? It will satisfy the equation basically. So you substitute this point P, right? You have x, then you have minus 3. Instead of y, you put this, then plus 5 in the equation. You simplify, you will get r as 1 by 3. So you have to write it in the form of ratio. R is equal to 1:3. Now we look at this particular problem. The intercepts of a straight line on the x and y axis are in the ratio 2:1. The intercepts of a straight line. So let's draw a straight line. The intercept, that means there is x-axis. It's cutting the x-axis and y-axis. In what ratio it's cutting? In the ratio 2:1. That means this line is cutting in the ratio 2:1. This particular line bisects the joining of these 2 points. So there are 2 points here, 3 comma minus 4, 5 comma 2, 2 points are there, right? Now this line CD is bisecting this line. Bisecting means it is exactly dividing the line into 2 parts. It is bisecting at midpoint. Bisecting means it is always dividing the line into 2 equal parts. Let's assume that this point is P. Since it is bisecting, it will be nothing but the midpoint. Midpoint of these 2 coordinates. How do you find the midpoint? You have these 2, this coordinate, this coordinate. At midpoint, it's bisecting this line. So how will you find? Take this coordinate. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 divided by 2. That's how you find the midpoint. 5 plus 3 by 2. Like this, 5 plus 3 by 2. And this one, 2 with minus 4 you add. 2 minus 4 by 2. So it will be 8 by 2, which is 4. 2 minus 4 is minus 2. Minus 2 by 2 is 1. Minus 2 by 2 is minus 1. So now this is the point. This point P is nothing but 4 comma minus 1. Right? Now you found the value of this point. So in all the earlier problems, this point was given to us. The value of the point was given to us. Right? Whichever problem we solved earlier, we got the point. Here, only difference is we need to find the point here. We don't know the point. So using this midpoint formula, we found this point 4 comma minus 1. Now here the intercepts are given directly, right? Notice intercepts are given. The ratio of the intercepts is 2:1. That is, this is y-intercept, this is x-intercept. The ratio between these intercepts is 2:1. So if this intercept, x-intercept is 2, then y-intercept will be 1. If x-intercept is 4, then y-intercept will be 2. 2:1, right? So this is 2 times more than this. X-intercept is 2 times more than y-intercept. What is x-intercept? A. What is y-intercept? B. Now x-intercept is 2 times more and y-intercept is 1 time more. 1 time more compared to x-intercept. So B is also equal to A is equal to 2A. So now you take the intercept form of equation, x by A plus y by B. Instead of A, you put 2 times A. Instead of B, you put A. Right? Now we need to get rid of this A. Only then we can get the equation. How do you get rid of A? Use this point which you obtained here. Why? Because this point lies on this line AB. So if you substitute the value of point x and y in this line, it will satisfy the equation. So this is the equation. You are substituting the point. This you will get the value of A, right? So now once you get the value of A, substitute this value of A in the same equation. Instead of A, you put 1 and you'll get the final equation. So I've tried to explain all ratio related problems because it could be slightly confusing. That's why I've covered multiple ratio related problems. Now, let's go through another topic, which is nothing but general form of equation, right? The general form of equation is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, right? You would have noticed that equation of straight lines would be something like this: 2x plus 3y plus 6 is equal to 0, or something like this, right? You have x, you have y, and then you have a constant. So this particular this form of equation is general form of equation for straight lines. We can look at this using an example. So let's take the 2-point slope form, right? We can take a 2-point slope form. The equation for a 2-point slope is y minus y1 by x minus x1 is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Now let's assume that there are 2 points, right? The coordinates are 4, 2, 6, 5. Let's just assume this. Then you substitute the coordinates here, right? You substitute y1 x1, y2 x2, right? Once you substitute, when you simplify, if you notice, you will get this kind of an expression. This is of the form: you have x, you have y, and you have number. So this coefficient of x can be a, coefficient of y is b, and this is constant c. So it is of the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, where a is equal to 3, b is equal to minus 2, and c is equal to minus 2. So if you take any straight line, it will be of this particular form. Now, say you have a straight line here. Now, we know the equation of straight line. It's ax plus by plus c. It's of this form. Now, if you need to figure out the point at which this line intercepts y-axis or x-axis. Now, if you look at this line, it is cutting y-axis, right? It is cutting y-axis. Nothing but it is intercepting. Now, you want to find out what is this point, right? What is the y-intercept? You want to find out the y-intercept. Basically, the y coordinate, right? How do you find out? We just saw intercept form of the equation. What is it? It is nothing but x by a plus y by b is equal to 1. This is the intercept form. If you get this particular equation, this ax plus by, which is the general form of the equation, if you get this equation in this particular form, then you will get the intercept. This is nothing but x-intercept, b is y-intercept. A is x-intercept, b is y-intercept. So we will do some kind of mathematical operation so that you get the equation in this form, and then you can find out x-intercept and y-intercept. So we'll take this general form of equation, ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Now what we will do is, we'll rearrange the terms. So we'll bring c to the other side. So it will be ax plus by is equal to, when I shift c here, it will become 0 minus c. Now what I'll do is, I'll divide both the sides by minus c. I'll divide both the sides by minus c here, like this. So this will get cancelled and this will become 1. And here I will get ax by minus c plus by by minus c. I can get this a below, right? Instead of putting a in the numerator, I can also write it as minus c by a, right? Minus c by a. If I put minus c by a in the denominator, it's nothing but same as ax by minus c. So here also you get b to the denominator. You get b to the denominator. C and c will get cancelled. So we'll get 1 here. Now if you notice, this is of the form x by a plus y by b is equal to 1. See here, x by a, y by b is equal to 1. So which means, if you look at both these equations, this equation and this equation, this a here, which is x-intercept, right? X-intercept is equal to minus c by a, right? And y-intercept, this b is equal to, b is nothing but y-intercept, right? B is nothing but y-intercept. This y-intercept is nothing but minus c by b. Basically, we are comparing this equation. We are comparing this equation with the intercept form of the equation, so that we can get the intercept values. We can get x-intercept and we can get y-intercept. So now if you notice, x-intercept is minus c by a and y-intercept is minus c by b. Let's take one example. Say this is the equation, right? First what we will do, we'll first get the values of a. What is a? Coefficient of x. Coefficient of x is 5. What is coefficient? Any number next to x. So 5. And what is coefficient of y? It's minus 7. number and sign. You have minus and you have 7. Minus 7, this is nothing but b. And what is c? C is the constant, just the number, 11. Now we know a, b, c values, right? So we saw what was x-intercept, it's minus c by a, right? From this derivation, we know that x-intercept is minus c by a. So you know c, you know a, substitute, you'll get minus 11 by 5. Similarly, if I have to find y-intercept, what is the formula for y-intercept? It's nothing but minus c by p. So you have c, you have b. Substitute and you'll get y-intercept. Now, if you need to find the slope, what is slope? Slope here would be, from the same equation, we should get slope also. We can do that. How? We will separate out y, right? We will get it in the form y is equal to mx plus c, because you have slope in this equation. M is slope, right? You have slope in the equation. So what we can do is, we can get this equation in this particular form. For that, you have to isolate y. You have to get y to one side and shift everything else to the other side. So we'll bring it to that form. So we have by, we'll shift this here, shift this here. So it'll be 0 minus c minus ax. Then I'll just keep y here, shift b. So this will be minus c minus ax by b. Now I'll split this. This is nothing but minus c by b minus ax by b. Now I'll rearrange it. That is, I'll bring this term first. So it's minus a by b into x minus c. Now if you notice, this is similar to y is equal to mx plus c, right? You have y and y is same, c and c is same. Now what is m now? From this equation, what is m? M is nothing but minus a by b. M is equal to minus a by b. Nothing but slope is equal to minus a by b. So now just to summarize, we took this general form of equation, right? We obtained the slope by getting it in this form. By getting it in this form, we'll get slope. Now by using general form of the equation, we got x-intercept, y-intercept and slope, right? So if there's any equation given like this, easily we can find x-intercept, y-intercept and slope. Slope is minus a by b. We have a, we have b, and we substitute, we get slope. Now let's look at another example. Reduce the following equation in slope-intercept form and in intercept form. Now what is slope-intercept form? Slope-intercept form is this one. You have slope, remember, you have slope, and the c is nothing but intercept. The c is y-intercept and m is slope. So whenever they say slope-intercept form, we'll have to use this equation. And if they say intercept form is what? X by a plus y by b is equal to 1. So this is the intercept form, this is the slope form. And what is the general equation form? What is the general equation of straight line? Ax plus by plus c. Now all these three equations are nothing but equations of straight lines itself, but there are different forms. In one equation you have slope and y-intercept. In one equation you have x-intercept and y-intercept. In all these equations are related, right? One is derived from the other. That's all. Now if you look at this example, 2x plus 3y is equal to 7. You have to get it in slope-intercept form. So we'll have to use slope formula. Y is equal to mx plus c. So you take this equation, you get it in this form. So you just put y on one side and shift everything to the other side. So you'll get y is equal to minus 2 by 3x plus 7 by 3. Basically you shift everything this side and then get y value. So now this is of the form y is equal to mx plus c. Now you will have to get the equation in intercept form, that is in this form. How do you do that? Simple. First thing is look at the constant, the number, right? In the intercept form, the number has to be always 1. The number always has to be 1, right? But here you have 7. So what you will do? You divide the entire equation by 7. Because if I divide this by 7, it will become 1. But I have to divide the entire equation, right? Both the sides I have to divide by 7. So here also divide by 7, here also divide by 7, and here also. So now if I divide, I'll get this equation. But I want it like this, x by a, y by b. Here I have 2x by 7. So what I can do, I have to remove this 2 and put it here in the denominator, 7 by 2. Remove this 3 and put it in the denominator, 7 by 2. That's all. So x by 7 by 2 plus y by 7 by 3 is equal to 1. So this becomes the intercept form. Now we'll take another example. We have to represent this in slope, intercept form and intercept form. Now we'll take slope intercept form. Okay. In slope intercept, what is the equation? Y is equal to mx plus c. So we have the equation root 3x plus y plus 8 is equal to 0. So we'll shift everything other side. 0 minus 8 minus root 3x, nothing but minus 8 minus root 3x. So y is equal to, let me rearrange the terms, minus root 3x minus 8. Now if you notice, this is of this form, right? So we have got it in this form. Now let's look at this intercept form, right? In intercept form, it should be of the form x by a plus y by b is equal to 1. So what is the equation we have? This is the equation. So now I shift this 8 this side. So it will become minus 8. Now in the equation, I need to get 1, which means I have to divide the entire equation by minus 8, right? So if I divide the entire equation by minus 8, it will become like this. Y by 8 is equal to minus 8 by 8. So, right, I have to divide by minus 8. Let's not forget the sign. We have to put minus 8 because you have minus 8 here. So you have to divide by minus 8 only. So this will become 1. Now we'll have to get it in the form x by a. That is, x has to be, that is, you should have only x here. You should have x in the numerator and the number in the denominator. So what we will do, we'll simply bring root 3 down. So it will be x by minus 8 by root 3, y by minus 8 is equal to 1. So this is of the intercept form. Now let's take another example where we have to find slope, x-intercept and y-intercept. Say we'll take this particular equation. We'll take another equation. What is slope? Slope is equal to minus a by b. We'll have to remember this. Slope is minus a by b. What is a here? Root 3. Coefficient of x, root 3. What is b here? Number next to y. There's nothing here, so we assume 1. And what is c? Constant. It's plus 2. So we'll substitute. So it will minus root 3 by 1. Nothing but minus root 3. X-intercept is minus c by a. What is c? 2. What is a? Root 3. Now we will find out y-intercept. What is y-intercept? Minus c by b. That is nothing but minus 2 by b is 1. Nothing but minus 2. So simple. We found slope, we found x-intercept and we found y-intercept. Now we look at our next topic, slopes of parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Now slopes of, now you assume that there are two lines here, L1 and L2. What is a slope? Slope is nothing but y by x, or it's nothing but tan theta. Now if I look at the slope, how do I measure the slope of this particular line? This is y, this is x. Y by x is here, if this is theta, this y by x becomes the slope. Now if you take L2, which is exactly parallel to this, do you think y by x will change? Y by x will not change. Right? The line is exactly parallel. What is slope? Slope is nothing but the slant. How much is this line slanting? How much is this line slanting? That is what is called as slope. Right? So now both are parallel. If both are parallel, it will have the same slant or same steepness. Right? It will be same. That's why they are parallel. Say L1 equation is ax plus by plus c. Then equation of L2 will be, it will be same equation, but instead of c you will have some other value, right? say let's assume k. Basically this number that you get will be different when you have parallel lines. So for example, if you have 2x plus 3y plus 6, right, say this is L1 equation, then what will be the equation of L2? Nothing but 2x plus 3y plus something else, some other number. We don't know what that number is, we will have to calculate, but it will be some other number like 8 or 10 or something. So slopes of parallel lines will be equal. We'll take few examples and find out. So we'll take this example. Show that the lines, these two lines are parallel. So we'll take slope of this line, they should be equal. They should be equal. So what is slope? Like I said, it is nothing but steepness or amount of slant. Right? Now, how to find the slope of this? This is of the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. What is slope for this? Nothing but minus a by b. Correct? Minus a by b. So what is a here? A here is 3. That is number next to x is a. Right? Let's write down. Number next to x is 3 and number next to y is 4. So b is equal to 4 and c, that is the number, is equal to 1. Number is equal to 1. So a is equal to 3, b is equal to 4, c is equal to 1. Now we'll substitute. Slope is equal to minus a by b, which is equal to minus 3 by 4. This becomes a slope. Now we'll take the second line. Right? 6x plus 8y plus 3. Now what is a here? Number next to x, 6. What is b? Number next to y, 8. What is c? It's just the number, which is 3. Now slope is minus a by b. A is 6, b is 8. So minus 6 by 8, which is nothing but minus 3 by 4. Now you notice, slope of this first line is also 3 by 4, minus 3 by 4. And slope of second line is also minus 3 by 4. Since the slopes are equal, we can say lines are parallel. Now similarly, slopes of perpendicular lines, right? How do you know that the lines are perpendicular? And what will be the slopes for perpendicular lines? For perpendicular lines, slopes will be, so m1 into m2 will be equal to minus 1. So if you multiply both the slopes, say you have two lines here. This is line L1, this is line L2. Two lines are there. If you take the slope of L1 and slope of L2, say this is slope of L1 is m1, slope of L2 is m2. When you multiply both of this, you should get minus 1. If you get minus 1, then it means that both the lines are perpendicular. What is perpendicular? It's at 90 degrees. One line is at 90 degrees to the other line. Right? This one line is at 90 degrees to the other line. So it's enough if you remember this particular formula, right? That m1 into m2 is equal to minus 1 for perpendicular lines. If you really want to go to derivation, right? There is a derivation here. Right? If you are interested, I can quickly brief through the derivation. So you assume that there is L1 and L2 lines, both have 90 degree angle. So now if you look at this particular L1, right, you look at this L1 line, it will make an angle, say alpha. We'll assume that is making an angle alpha. And then you have line L2, right? You can assume that it's making an angle beta, right? Now, how do you find the slope of L1? How do you find slope of L1? Nothing but, slope is nothing but tan theta, right? Tan, here it is alpha, so the angle is alpha. So tan alpha, slope is nothing but tan alpha, which is nothing but y by x, nothing but opposite by adjacent. That's what is tan theta formula, right? So we'll put tan alpha. Now similarly, what is slope of L2? It will be tan beta, because it's making an angle of beta with x-axis. It's making an angle of beta with x-axis. So it's tan beta. We can write tan beta. What will be tan beta, right? In terms of alpha, we can write. How do we write? We know that this is 90 degree, right? If this is 90 degree, then this also will be 90 degree, correct? If this is 90 degree, then this also will be 90 degree. If this is 90 degree, this is alpha, then what is this angle? Now if you notice, this is a triangle, right? This entire thing is a triangle. Now in this triangle, one is 90 degree, one is alpha. So what will be this? It will be 180 minus, add both these angles, 90 plus alpha. 180 minus 90 plus alpha is nothing but 90 plus alpha. So this angle is 90 plus alpha. This angle is 90 plus alpha. Now if this angle is 90 plus alpha, then what is this beta? Simple. Again it will be 180 minus 90 plus alpha. This is a straight line. This is 180 degrees. This angle is 90 plus alpha. So this would be 180 minus 90 plus alpha, which is nothing but 90 plus alpha. So beta is nothing but 90 plus alpha. Now M2 is tan beta. So instead of beta, I'll put 90 plus alpha. So tan 90 plus alpha. Then I can use tan A plus B formula, right? What is tan A plus B formula? What is tan A plus B? Tan A plus tan B by 1 minus tan A into tan B, right? So it will become tan 90 plus tan alpha by 1 minus tan 90 into tan alpha. Now you substitute this. Now, see, tan 90 is undefined. Tan 90 is undefined. It is infinity. So what you do, you divide this entire expression by tan 90. Divide this entire expression by tan 90 so that you can get rid of tan 90. So if I divide tan 90 by tan 90, it will become 1 plus tan alpha by tan 90. Similarly here, you divide by tan 90, right? And then 1 by tan 90. 1 by tan 90 is cot 90. And value of cot 90 is 0. So now when you simplify, you will get M2 is equal to 1 by minus tan alpha. You will get 1 by minus tan alpha. What is tan alpha? M1. So M2 will be equal to minus 1 by M1, which means M2 into M1 is equal to minus 1. So product of slopes of perpendicular lines is always minus 1. So we'll look at an example. Show that the lines are perpendicular. So you have two equations given here, right? You find the slope of first line and slope of second line. You multiply that and see if it gives you minus 1 as the result. If you get minus 1 as the result, that means lines are perpendicular. Now, how do you find the slope? Slope is nothing but minus a by b. So what is a here? A here is, this is 5. B is number next to y. There's nothing here, you assume it's 1. And C is equal to only number 2. So minus a by b. So minus 5 by 1. Slope is minus 5. Now you take slope of second line. Again find a. What is the number next to x? There's nothing. So a is equal to 1. What is number next to y? Minus 5. Remember to put the sign also. Minus 5. And number is equal to plus 1. Right? Now you substitute minus a by b is minus 1 by minus 5. Minus 1 by minus 5, which is 1 by 5. Now you take both the slopes and multiply. So you get minus 5 into 1 by 5, which is nothing but minus 1. Since you've got the result as minus 1, you can say that the lines are perpendicular. Now let's take this particular example. Find k if the line k plus 1x, there is a line equation given here, and this is another line equation. Both the lines are perpendicular to each other. You have to find the value of k, right? So you have, let's say line 1 is nothing but k plus 1 into x plus 2k plus 3 into y plus 3 is equal to 0. We'll find slope of this particular line 1. What will be the slope? Slope is equal to minus a by b. Now what is a here? Instead of a is nothing but any number next to x, right? Here you have k plus 1. So a is equal to k plus 1. What is b? Number next to y, which is nothing but 2k plus 3. So this is nothing but minus of k plus 1 by 2k plus 3, which is nothing but minus k minus 1 by 2k plus 3. Now we'll take line L2. Line L2 is this one. 2x minus 5 plus 1 is equal to 0. So again we'll find slope M2. A is equal to 2. B is number next to y, which is minus 5. So minus a by b. A is 2. B is minus 5. So we'll get 2 by 5. Now, what is the condition for perpendicular lines? M1 into M2 should be equal to minus 1. Now you take both this slopes. Minus M1 is minus k minus 1 by 2k plus 3 into M2. M2 is 2 by 5 equal to minus 1. They've already told that the lines are perpendicular. You don't have to prove that the lines are perpendicular. They've already told the lines are perpendicular. You have to find the value of k. So now you multiply. So you'll get minus 2k minus 2 by 10k plus 15 is equal to minus 1. So now I'll simplify this. Minus 2k minus 2. I'll take this here. So it will be minus 10k minus 15. Now I'll bring k terms here. So minus 2k plus 10k is equal to minus 15. I'll take this 2 here. So it will be plus 2. So 10 minus 2, 8k is equal to minus 13. Which means k is equal to minus 13 by 8. So we got the value of k. K is minus 13 by 8. Now similarly we look at another example where two lines are given. They've told it's parallel. You have to find k. Now this is parallel. So we'll take L1, which is 2x minus 3y plus 4 is equal to 0. Let's find slope M1. Nothing but minus a by b. What is a? Number next to x, which is 2. And what is b? Number next to y, which is minus 3. So you'll get 2 by 3. Now we'll find L2. What is L2? X plus ky. It's is equal to 3. I'll shift 3 here. It will become minus 3 is equal to 0. Now what is a here? Number next to x, there's nothing. So you assume 1. And b is equal to k here. Right? Number next to y is k here. So M2 is equal to minus a by b, which is nothing but minus 1 by k. Now since the lines are parallel, since lines L1 and L2 are parallel, M1 should be equal to M2. Slopes are equal. Right? So we'll say M1 is equal to M2. M1 is 2 by 3. M2 is minus 1 by k. Now we'll shift k on top. So we'll get 2k. K is in the denominator. When you shift, it will become 2 into k is equal to minus, I'll shift this here. It will become minus 1 into 3. So 2k is equal to minus 3, which means k is minus 3 by 2. So k is minus 3 by 2. Let's take another type of problem. Find the equation of line perpendicular to line equation is given and a point is given. Right? You don't have two lines here, but one line and one point. Right? Now how do you find the equation of that line? Right? So basically you have, this is one line and this is line 2. Right? Equation of this is given. You have to find equation of L2. You have to find equation of L2. Right? And they've given a point. This particular line, L1, passes through, right? It passes through one point. Say this point. And this point is 1 minus 2. Now using these two, we should get equation of this line. So first we should know, for perpendicular lines, right? We know slopes are, if you multiply the slopes, you get minus 1. Now how do you get the equation of line? Right? So there is a small shortcut. Right? There's a small shortcut. What we have to do is, we have to take this minus 2, put it here, reverse the sign. Whatever value is there for y, right? Reverse the sign. So if there is plus here, make it minus. If there is minus here, make it plus. Right? So it will become plus. And instead of y, you put x. And then here, whatever sign is there, just keep that same sign. Plus 3, and instead of x, you put y. And instead of plus 1, you have to put plus k. Right? This will be the format of second equation. 2x plus 3y plus k is equal to 0. Now we'll have to find the value of k. That's where we use this point. Now this point is there on this particular line L2. Right? This line L2 has this particular point 1 minus 2. Which means if I substitute this point values in this equation, in this L2 equation, it will give me 0. Basically, I'll get k value. So let's try to substitute 2x plus 3y plus k is equal to 0. Put the point value. Put 1 minus 2 in this equation. It will be 2 into 1 plus 3 into minus 2 plus k is equal to 0. 2 minus 6 plus k is equal to 0. So I'll get k is equal to 2 minus 6 is minus 4. So it will become k is equal to 4. So what will be the equation now? Take the same equation, 2x plus 3y. Instead of k, I put 4. So this is the equation of L2, the perpendicular line. Now you can verify also, right? What is the condition for perpendicular line? The slopes, the product of the slopes should be equal to -1. Now you take the slope of this line, right? What is slope of L1? What is L1? Minus a by b. What do we have instead of a? A is 3, minus 3. What do you have instead of b? Minus 2. Nothing but 3 by 2. Now let's take the slope of this line, perpendicular line. What is a here? 2. What is b here? 3. What is m2? Minus a by b, which is minus 2 by 3. So m2 is minus 2 by 3. Now if you multiply both of these, 3 by 2 into minus 2 by 3, that is I'm multiplying m1 into m2. When I multiply, I'll get -1 as answer. Therefore, I can see that the lines are perpendicular. Both of these lines are perpendicular. Right? But remember this shortcut. Right? Remember this shortcut. So I'll repeat, if I have an equation like this, then perpendicular line equation would be, instead of 3, I put this number 2x. Here it's minus 2, so I'll reverse the sign, so it will be plus 2. And then this one, whatever sign I have, same thing I'll put, plus 3. Instead of x, I'll put y. Instead of this number, I'll put plus k. Right? And then how I'll find the value of k? By taking the point. Right? Whatever point is given, I substitute this x and y values in this particular equation, I'll get the value of k. Right? And then I substitute the value of k in the same equation, I get the line equation. Let's take another example, right? We have equation and we have the point. Now we have to find the equation of perpendicular line passing through this particular point. So you have one equation. So you have one line and it is passing through another perpendicular line, and the point is given as -2, 1. You have to find this equation. This line's equation is given here, right? Say this is L1. Now what do I do? How do I find the perpendicular equation? There is a shortcut to find the equation of L2, right? So what you'll have to do is, if you have the equation like this, right, say for L1, then for perpendicular line L2, it will be bx minus ay plus k is equal to 0. So you bring b and put x and take this a and it will become minus ay, right? Basically you're interchanging a and b. You're interchanging a and b and putting a negative sign for y. You're putting a negative sign for y. Basically you're reversing the sign for y. So here we'll first put a. A is equal to 3. B is equal to -2. Right? So now what will be the equation of L2? Let me reverse a and b. So it should be bx. So b is -2x and it should be ay. Right? That is 3y. And the sign should be reversed here. For y, the sign should be reversed. So it should be -3y. Right? Here you have +3. It will become -3 for y. Right? And plus k is equal to 0. Whatever value you have here, it doesn't matter, just put plus k. Right? This should be plus k. So this is the perpendicular line equation. Now how do we find the value of k? This is where you have to use the point. Right? Since this point lies on this L2, this point lies on L2, the coordinates x and y coordinates, when you substitute these coordinates in this L2 equation, you should get, it should be equal to 0, which means you'll get the value of k. So let's substitute. So -2x minus 3y plus k equal to 0. You have to substitute 1 and -2. So I'll get -2 into 1 minus 3 into -2 plus k equal to 0, -2 plus 6 plus k is equal to 0. So I'll get k is equal to -4. Now I'll take the equation and substitute k. So it's minus 2x minus 3y. I'll take the same equation and instead of k I put minus 4. So now I'll multiply both the sides with minus, so that I can get rid of this minus, right? For that I'll multiply both the sides. So it will be 2x plus 3y plus 4. I'm multiplying, right? Everywhere I'm multiplying. So minus into minus is plus, minus into minus is plus, minus into minus is plus, and minus 0 is nothing but 0 itself, right? So the equation would be 2x plus 3y plus 4 is equal to 0. This is the equation of perpendicular line. Now let's take another problem. 3x plus 2y minus 1. This is the line. This passes through this particular point. Now we have to find the equation of perpendicular line. You have to find the equation of perpendicular line. So this is the equation. So what will be the equation of perpendicular line? You have ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. So it will become bx minus ay plus k is equal to 0, right? So you just reverse the numbers. So you'll get 2x, 3y, and instead of minus 1, I'll put plus k is equal to 0. Whether you have minus 1 or plus 1, always put plus k. What should be the sign, right? There's always a confusion as to what should be the sign. Whatever sign you have for y, right, this plus 2, it will remain as plus 2 only. Whatever sign you have for x, this will get reversed. You have plus, this will become minus, right? Now I have to find the value of k. So I'll use this point, minus 2, 1. Substitute here, right? So we'll get 2 into minus 2. Substitute in this equation. Minus 3 into 1 plus k is equal to 0. Which is minus 4 minus 3 plus k is equal to 0. Which means k is equal to 7. Now I'll put this 7 in this equation. So I'll get 2x minus 3y plus 7 is equal to 0. So this is the equation of perpendicular line. Now how do I verify, just for your information, how do I verify that the lines I have are perpendicular, right? Just for your information in case you want to verify in the exam, right? So what you can do is, you have two equations here, right? Let's write both the equations. One equation was 3x minus 2y plus 1 is equal to 0. Another equation was 2x plus 3y plus 4 is equal to 0. In the first problem, you got these equations. How do you know if it's perpendicular? Right? So what you do, take the slope of this line, multiply both the slopes, you should get minus 1. So let's try it out. Slope m1 is equal to minus a by b. What is a here? 3. What is b here? Minus 2. So minus 3 by minus 2, which is 3 by 2. Now let's find the slope of second line. A is equal to 2, b is equal to 3. So minus a by b minus 2, b is 3. So minus 2 by 3. I get minus 2 by 3. Now I multiply both the slopes. m1 into m2 is equal to 3 by 2 into minus 2 by 3, which is minus 1. Right? So we've got minus 1, which means these two lines are perpendicular. Just for you to verify. If you've got an equation in your exam, right? If you want to verify if the equation is correct, then you can use this particular method to verify. Now similarly, let's take an example where we have to find the equation of parallel line. Find the equation of line parallel to this particular line and passing through this point. So you have one line here and you have another parallel line, right? Say this is L1. Equation of L1 is given and there is a parallel line L2 and it passes through one point which is 4, 1. L2 is passing through the point, okay, and we need to find the equation of L2. So for parallel lines, equation will be like this. If you have one equation which is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, for parallel line the other equation would be plus k is equal to 0. Instead of c, it will be some other number, but this will be same. Ax by will be same, but instead of c, it will be some other number. So here in this example, I have 4x plus 3y plus 2. 4x plus 3y plus 2 is equal to 0. So for parallel line, say L2, equation would be Same thing, 4x plus 3y plus k, right? Now we have to find the value of k. That is where you'll use this point 4 comma 1. Same method, substitute 4 comma 1 in this equation. So it'll be 4 into 4 plus 3 into 1 plus k is equal to 0. So I'll get 16 plus 3, 19 plus k is equal to 0, which means k is equal to minus 19. So now I'll take the actual equation, 4x plus 3y plus k is equal to 0. So instead of k, I put this value, minus 19 is equal to 0. So this is the equation of L2, which is parallel line. Right? Simple. We'll take another example. We have line 2x minus 3y plus 1 and passing the point given is 2 comma 2. Now you have to find line 2, right? Line 2 is parallel, right? Line 2 is parallel to this line, and this parallel line passes through this point. So what you'll do, you have 2x minus 3y plus 1. So equation of parallel line would be 2x minus 3y, same thing, plus k, right? Instead of plus 1, I put plus k. Now how do I find the value of k? Take the point. Point is 2 comma 2. Now substitute. This will be 2 into 2 minus 3 into 2 plus k is equal to 0. So it will be 4 minus 6 plus k. So k is equal to 2. K is equal to 2. So now I'll take this equation. So what is the equation? Equation of parallel line is 2x minus 3y plus 2 is equal to 0. This is the equation. 2x minus 3y, instead of k I am putting the value, which is plus 2. Now we look at the next topic, intersection of lines, right? So say you have two lines like this. Say this is line L1, this is line L2. Now if they intersect, that means they meet at one point, right? Both the lines meet at one point. Let's call this as P. And let's call the coordinates as x comma y. Now this point is called as an intersection point, right? And how do you find the intersection point? If these two lines are given, line equations are given, right? For this and for this. How do you find the point of intersection? So what you'll have to do is, you'll have to use equation method of finding the point of intersection. So first get both the equations together, right? You have to follow the theory of equations, right? In theory of equations, how do you find the values of x and y? You have to use the same method, right? There are multiple methods, right, to find the value of x and y. The method that I'll use is, I'll just try to eliminate one of the terms. I'll try to eliminate one of the terms so that I can find x and y. So now I need to find similar terms. Here I have 3 and here I have 5. So what I'll do is I'll multiply this with 5, multiply this with 3. So when I multiply 5 into 3 will become 15x. And here if I multiply with 3, 3 into 5 will become 15. And then if I subtract, 15 and 15 will get cancelled. X values will get cancelled. Then I can find the y value. So let's try out. Okay. So when I have to multiply the entire equation. So this will be 15x, 5 into 4 minus 20y, 5 into 1. Second one is 5 into 3 is 15x, 7 into 3 is 21y is equal to 3 into 1, which is 3. Now I'll subtract the entire equation like this. So I'll get 15x and 15x will get cancelled. And then I'll get minus 20y plus 21, which is y. 1 I'll get, 1y. 5 minus 3 is 2. So I got the value of y. Now I have the value of y. I can easily find the value of x. How? I'll take the equation, any equation, either this or this, right? And I'll put the y value. I'll substitute the y value. So I'll get 3x minus 8 is equal to 1. which is nothing but 3x is equal to 1 plus 8, which is 9, and x is equal to 9 by 3, which is 3. So I got the point. Point x, y is nothing but 3, comma 2. So this is called the point of intersection, right? This is nothing but 3, comma 2, point of intersection. Now let's take another example. Find the point of intersection of lines. Two lines are given. So what we will do, we'll take both the lines, one below the other, and you have 4x minus y minus 3 is equal to 0. First you check if there's any way that you can cancel the terms. There is no way. So I have 2y here and I have minus y here. I can multiply this entire equation with 2. Right? Here I'll not multiply. I don't need to multiply. Right? So in the other case we multiplied because you have to multiply both to get a common term. So if I multiply 3 with 5, I'll get 15. Here I multiplied 5 with 3, I'll get 15. Right? Only if I multiply both, I'll get same terms. But here it's enough if I multiply only this equation. Because if I multiply 2 with y, I'll get 2y and this will get cancelled. So I'll copy down like this. 2y minus 5 is equal to 0. And this one I'll multiply. 2 into 4 is 8x. 2 into y minus 3 into 2 is 6. Now in earlier equation I subtracted. Here I subtracted because only if I subtracted I could get this cancelled. Both are plus and plus. Only if I subtract I can cancel this. But in this example I have plus and minus. So it will easily get cancelled. I don't have to subtract. Adding is enough. I add both the equations. So I'll get 8x plus 3x is 11x. Minus 11 is equal to 0, which means x is equal to 1. Now I'll find the y value. So I'll take any equation, right, and I'll substitute x value and I'll find the y value. So I'll get 3 plus 2y minus 5 is equal to 0. So 3 minus 5 is equal to minus 2. So I'll get y is equal to 2 by 2, which is equal to 1. So the point of intersection is 1, 1. 1, 1. Now let's look at another problem, slightly tricky one. Find the equation of line passing through point of intersection of two lines. Two lines are given. And there is another line also which is parallel to this line. Basically there are 4 lines here. There are 4 lines. There is one line, right? We don't know. We need to find the equation of that line. We don't know. 2 lines are given. And there's one more line that is given which is parallel to this line. So you have 4 lines like this. Let's say this is L1, which is 3x plus y is equal to 10. This is one line. Second line is, say, L2, x plus 7y is equal to 10. And then there is a parallel line, 4x minus 3y plus 1 is equal to 0. This is parallel line. Now this is parallel to what? Parallel to what? There is a line which is passing through intersection of these two lines. So find the equation of line passing through. It is passing through intersection point of these two lines. So wherever these two lines meet, there is an intersection point. And this line, there is one line that is passing through intersection point, and also this line is parallel to this line. So you have 4 lines here. Now how do you find equation of L3? So first we'll have to find point of intersection. Right? Let's first find the point of intersection. So now you have point and then you have equation. This is a parallel line equation, right? There is a point. We solved similar problem, right? Previously, similar problem. You have a point and a line. You have to find equation of the other line, right? Same way. So we'll solve this. So you'll find the intersection here. So take both the equations, these two line equations. If you multiply this equation with 3, you'll get 3x. And then you subtract this and this will get cancelled. and then you'll get the value of y. So like this, 3x plus y is equal to 10. You multiply this entire equation with 3, so it will be 3x, 3 into 7 is 21y, 3 into 10 is 30, and then you subtract the whole equation. So 3x and 3x will get cancelled, so you'll get 20y is equal to 20, which means y is equal to 1. Now y is equal to 1, take any one of these equations, substitute the value of y. So 3x plus 1, instead of y I put 1, 3x plus 1 is equal to 10. So I get x is equal to 3. So the point of intersection is 3 comma 1, x comma y, 3 comma 1. So point of intersection is 3 comma 1. Now you have the point of intersection, you have the line. You have to find the equation of this line parallel to this. So what is the equation of parallel line? This is the parallel line. So equation of the other parallel line would be, say this is equation L3, the equation of L3. Sorry, say this is L4. So this is equation of L4. Now you have to find equation of L3. So what will L3 be? It's a parallel line. Copy the same equation, but instead of this number plus 1, you will put plus k, like this, plus k, right? 4x minus 3y plus k, right? Now you have the point also. Substitute this point here. Instead of x, point is 3 comma 1. So instead of x you put 3, instead of y you put 1, and then you'll get the value of k. K is equal to minus 9. Now you go to this particular equation and substitute k. So the equation would be 4x minus 3y minus 9. Now see, parallel line equations will be same except that this number will differ. Number will differ. Now let's take another example, right? Let's try it out. Find the equation of line passing through point of intersection. Again, two lines are given here, and parallel line is also given. You have to find the other parallel line, right? So same thing, you have 4 lines. This line is 2x plus y is equal to 3. Let's call it as L4, L1, L2. This is point of intersection. You have to find this point, and this is L3. This equation you have to find. You have to find L3 equation, right? So let's find the point of intersection. What are the equations we have? L1 is equal to 2x plus 5y is equal to 1. L2 is equal to 3x minus 2y is equal to 8. Now we should get similar terms. So we can multiply this with 3, multiply this with 2, right? If I multiply this with 3, I'll get 6. With 2, I'll get 6, so I can cancel. I need to subtract here, because only if I subtract this will get cancelled. So now let me multiply. Get 6x plus 15y is equal to 3. 6x minus 4y is equal to 16. I'll subtract. So this will get cancelled. 15y plus 4y is 19y. 3 minus 16 is minus 13. So y is equal to minus 13 by 19. So I got the y value. Now let's find the x value. So let's take the equation 2x plus 5y is equal to 1. Let's substitute the y value, be minus 13 by 19 is equal to 1. So now this will be nothing but, I'll take LCM 19. So it will be 19 into 2, which is 38x plus 5 into 13 is minus 65 is equal to 1. I'll take 19 here. So we'll get 38x minus 65. This will become 1 into 19, which is 19. So 38x is equal to 19 plus 65, which is 84, is equal to 38x. So x is equal to 84 by 38, which is 42 by 19. X is 42 by 19. So point of intersection is 42 by 19 and minus 13 by 19. So now I have the point and I have the parallel line. What is the parallel line? 2x plus y is equal to 3. 2x plus y is equal to 3. So what will be the line 3 equation? This one. This is going to be same equation. 2x plus y plus k is equal to 0. Same equation, but instead of the number you will have k. So it's going to be 2x plus y plus k is equal to 0. So now how do I find k? Substitute the x and y values here. So 2 into x is 42 by 19 plus y is equal to minus 13 by 19 plus k is equal to 0. So this will be 84 by 19 minus 13 by 19 plus k is equal to 0. So therefore k is equal to minus 71 by 19. Now let's substitute in this equation. 2x plus y plus k. Instead of k, I'll put 71 by 19. So I'll get 38x, I'm taking LCM, plus 19y minus 71 is equal to 0. Now you can have a similar example, but here the line could be perpendicular. So we saw examples with lines being parallel. Same method, we'll have to find line perpendicular. Exactly same method, right? But here you have to find out the perpendicular line equation, right? So it's going to be like this. You have two lines, point of intersection. Say this is L1, L2. The equation is given, right? This is L1 and say this is L2. You have to find the point of intersection. Now you have to find the equation of line that passes through this particular point and it is perpendicular to another line, right? There is another line. This is L4 and this equation is x plus 4y is equal to 8. This one. So you have to find equation of L3. It passes through this particular point and is perpendicular to this L4. And L4 equation is given here. So now what we will do? First we'll find point of intersection. So 2x minus 3y is equal to 4. 2x plus 2y is equal to 1. We will subtract. You have similar terms here, so you don't have to multiply. Just subtract, right? The whole equation. If you subtract, this will get cancelled. So minus 3y minus 2y is minus 5y is equal to 3, which means y is equal to minus 3 by 5. Now similarly, we'll find the x value. So we'll take this 2x minus 3. Instead of y, I'll put the y value. So I'll get x is equal to, so 2x plus 9 by 5 is equal to 4. So I'll take LCM. So it will be 10x plus 9 by 5 is equal to 4. So it's going to be 10x plus 9. I'll shift 5 here. So it will become 4 into 5, which is 20. And 10x will be 20 minus 9, which is 11. So x is equal to 11 by 10. So what is the point of intersection? It is 11 by 10. And what is y? Minus 3 by 5. Now you know the point. Now what is the equation of L3, which is perpendicular to L4? L3, which is perpendicular to L4. So L4 is x plus 2y is equal to 8. So equation of L4 is x plus 4y is equal to 8. X plus 4y is equal to 8. So what will be, this is L4. So what is equation of L3? Swap the numbers, right? So it will be 4x, this is 1 here, so it will be 1y plus k is equal to 0. Don't bother as to what number is here. Just put plus k is equal to 0. Now what should be the sign? So this sign will be same. This will get reversed, right? So here 1x, it will become minus 1y. Nothing but 4x minus y plus k equal to 0. This will be the perpendicular line. Now how do you find the value of k? Same thing, use this point, right? Substitute this point. So 4x minus y plus k is equal to 0. So instead of x, I put 11 by 10. Instead of y, I put minus 3 by 5. So it will become plus 3 by 5 plus k is equal to 0. So when I calculate, I'll get 44 by 10 plus 3 by 5 plus k is equal to 0. So here, when I simplify, I'll get k is equal to minus 5. So I'll substitute here 4x minus y minus k is equal to 0. So this is the equation of L3, which is perpendicular to L4. Now we'll go to next topic, which is concurrency of lines, right? How do you say that the lines are concurrent? Now simple, suppose you have three lines L1, L2, L3. You can say the lines are concurrent if all of the lines meet at a same point, right? Now say take two lines L1 and L2, right? You find the intersection point. So you get some intersection point 5 comma 5. Say for example, you put this 5 comma 5 in the equation of L3. Put this 5 comma 5 in the equation of L3, and the equation could, and it should give the value as 0. The equation of L3 should give 0 when you substitute 5 comma 5. So now let's take this example. Say these two are the, so this is L1, say this is L2. Two equations are there. Now I'll get the intersection point 5 comma 5. Now I have third line, say L3. Now I have to show that all these three lines are concurrent, right? That means all three lines meet at a single point. That's when we say all the lines are concurrent. So what I do, this value 5 comma 5 that I've got, point of intersection, I substitute in this third line. So this is my third line, L3. So I substitute the point of intersection, right? So 7 into 5, 8 into 5 plus 5. So I'll get, now you notice, finally it will become 0, right? So since the value is equal to 0, you can say all three lines are concurrent. Now let's take another type of problem, right, related to concurrency. Find K if lines are concurrent. These are the lines. Three lines are given here. L1, L2 and L3. Three lines are given, right? You have to find the value of K. K is there in L3. You have to find this value. They are concurrent, which means all three lines should intersect at a single point. So you take these two lines which has no K, right? Take the two lines, find the point of intersection here, right? You get the point of intersection as 1 minus 3, right? This is the point. Take this particular point and substitute in this L3, right? Take this. So this is L3. Kx minus y is equal to 6. Instead of x, you put this coordinates 1. Instead of y, you put minus 3. And then you will finally get the value of k. So k is equal to 3. So instead of k, if I put 3, then all three lines will become concurrent. So value of k is 3. Let's look at another topic. Show that the points are on the same side or opposite side of the line. Right? Suppose you have this as a line and you have a point here and a point here. How would you prove that the points are on the opposite side of the line or on the same side of the line, right? So now how do we figure that out is, we take both the points, substitute in this line equation and see the value that we get. If you put one point and you get greater than 0 and you substitute another point and you get less than 0, then it is on the opposite side, right? But if both the points you put in this line and you get both as same, either greater than 0 or less than 0, then it's on the same side. Now for example, let's take 2 points, 3 minus 4, 2, 6, and let's take line as 3x minus 4y minus is equal to 8. Now we'll have to tell where are these points. Are they on the same side of the line or on the opposite sides? So we'll substitute, we'll take this line and substitute the point values, right? Let's substitute point P. That is 3 minus 4 we will substitute. So 3 into 3 minus 4 into minus 4 is equal to, we'll bring 8 also this side, right? So it will be minus 8. We'll see what value we are going to get. 9 plus 16 minus 8. Nothing but you're going to get a number. You're going to get 17, which is greater than 0. Now we'll put point Q, which is 2 comma 6 in the same equation. 3x minus 4y minus 8 is equal to 0. So it will be 3 into 2 minus 4 into 6 minus 8. What do we get? We don't have to equate it to 0. We have to find what the value would be. So it will be 6 minus 24 minus 8, which is minus 18 minus 8, which is minus 26. This is a negative value, which is less than 0, right? So this is positive value, this is negative value. So both are opposite, right? One is greater than 0, one is less than 0, which means that the points are on opposite sides. Points are on opposite side of the line. Let's take another example. Determine the position of points. These are the points with respect to this particular line. So let's take point P, say 0, 0. Line is 2x plus 4y minus 1 is equal to 0. Substitute, right, x and y values. So you will get 0, 0, you'll get minus 1, which is less than 0, right? Minus 1 is negative. Now we'll take another point Q, say 1 minus 1. Line 2 into 1 plus 4 into minus 1, what do we get? We get 2 minus 4 minus 1, which is minus 3, which is less than 0. This is also negative. Now since both the points give you same signs, since both the points P and Q are giving negative, both are less than 0. Since both the points are less than 0, right, it's not that it's opposite. It's not that one is negative, one is positive. Both are same, both are negative. Therefore, we can say the points are on same side. On same side of the line. Therefore, we can say the points are on the same side of the line. So let's look at another topic. To find the length of perpendicular drawn from point to the line, right? You have line equation given and you have the point given like this. So this is the line. This entire thing is the line. This is the point. You want to find the distance of this point to this line, right? To this perpendicular line, right? Distance is always perpendicular. Whenever you have to find the distance, you will have to draw a perpendicular line, right? Distance from a point to the line, you should draw a perpendicular line, straight line. This will be 90 degrees, right? Now what will be the distance? How do we calculate? So the distance is given as ax1 plus by1 plus c by square root of a square plus b square. Now there is a derivation, right? There is a lengthy derivation for this. If anybody wants to understand the derivation, do drop in your comments, right? I'll prepare a separate video. Now, so here what we have to do is, we have to take this line equation. Instead of x and y, we have to put the point. We have to put this x1, y1. That's why it is x1, y1. Notice here, right? This is nothing but x1, y1, right? So we can take one example. Now similarly, if you have to find distance between parallel lines, right? Say you have parallel lines and you want to find this distance, right? How do you do that? So you have L1, you have L2. How do you find the distance? Now in parallel lines, you know ax plus by is going to be same, right? Only this is going to be C1, this is going to be C2, right? Both these terms is going to be same for parallel lines. Only the constant, the number is going to vary, right? So you take the difference of these two numbers, C2 minus C1, and divide it by root of a square plus b square. So remember, a and b will be the same for both parallel lines. So let's solve few problems, right? Let's take an example. So let's take this example. Find the length of perpendicular from this particular point to this line, right? So let's call the distance as d, right? It has to be in modulus. That is, even if you get negative sign, ignore that and it should be positive only, because distance is always positive, right? You can't say minus 5, minus 6 is the distance. It's going to be always positive. That's why you have to put this modulus symbol. Modulus means even if there is negative numbers inside, it's going to become positive. You're going to ignore the negative sign. So now ax1. So you have 4x. Let's put the equation 4, 3, minus 5. I'm just putting these numbers. Instead of x, I'll put this coordinates. Minus 2. Instead of y, I'll put minus 1. Then let me put the signs. Divided by root of a square. What is a here? A is 4. What is B? 3. So 4 square plus 3 square. So it's going to be minus 8, minus 3, minus 5. 16 plus 9 is 25. Root of 25 is 5. So it's going to be minus 16 by 5. So ignore the negative sign. So it's going to be 16 by 5 units. This is the distance. Now let's take another example, right? Point is given, line is given. So what is the formula? Modulus of ax1 plus by1 plus c divided by root of a square plus b square. Now what is x1, y1? 3, 0. This one. So we'll put a is equal to 5 into 3 plus b is equal to 12, right? This is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Instead of b we have 12. Instead of y1 we have 0 plus c. Instead of c we have minus 41, right? Now divided by root of a square. A square is 5 square. B square is 12 square. This is going to be 15 minus 41. 25 plus 144 is root of 169. So you'll get minus 26 by 13. It will get cancelled. So it's going to be minus 2. Now remember there is going to be modulus sign, right? So ignore the negative. It's going to be 2 units. So distance is 2 units. So let's take another example. Find k. To find k so that the distance from this point to the line is equal to 4. Distance is given, point is given, line is given, but in this line we have to find the value of k, right? So let's take the distance formula. ax1 plus by1 plus c by root of a square plus b square. What is a? A is 8, a is 8, b is 15, and this is c. So we'll substitute 8 into x1 plus 15 into y1 plus c. Instead of c we have k, and root of 8 square plus 15 square. Now what is the point that we have to put? 2, 3. So 2 and 3. So we'll get, and distance is given as 4. So this is 4. So we'll get 16 plus 45 plus k is equal to 64 plus 225, 289. So this is going to be 289. Square root of 289 is 17. 61 plus k, right? So now if I solve, this is nothing but equal to 4. So I'll multiply 17 into 4. 68. 7 into 4 is 68 is equal to 61 plus k. So I'll get 68 minus 61 is equal to k. I'm bringing this here. So this will be 7. Therefore k is equal to 7. And one more thing to note is, when you take a square root, right? Now the value inside could have been positive or negative, right? So whenever you're taking a square root, it could be plus or minus. If it is plus or minus here, assume with plus we calculated. Now we'll take minus 17 and see what will happen. 61 plus k is equal to 4. Let's take this as minus 17. So we'll get 61 plus k is equal to 4 into 17, which is 68. It will be minus 68 this time because it's minus 17. I'll get 68 here plus k is equal to 0. This is going to be 129 plus k is equal to 0, or k is equal to minus 129. So you'll have two values of k, either positive value or negative value. Now we look at another different kind of problem. Show that the point is equidistant from the lines. So you have two lines. There is a point. You have to show that the distance from this point to this line is same as from this point to this line. Let's call this as d1, and this distance we call as d2, right? d1 and d2. So we'll use, see again, distance from point to line will always be perpendicular, right? It will always be perpendicular. So we'll take the formula, this one, ax1 plus by1 plus c, modulus of this by root of a square plus b square. We'll use this formula. We'll take the first line, say line 1, line 2. We'll take line 1 here. Instead of x and y, we'll put the point 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Here, point 1 and 2. And we take here L2, right? We calculate, you notice, you will get the same distance, 1 unit, 1 unit. Since d1 is equal to d2, point is equidistant from line. Now here, one thing you have to notice, this equation, you have to bring 16 to the other side, right? When you bring 16 to the other side, it's going to become minus 16. It's going to become minus 16 is equal to 0. The equation should be in this form only. And then when you're putting the value here, you should put minus 16, not plus 16, because you're shifting 16 to the other side, so it'll become minus 16. Now, let's look at parallel lines. Find the distance between parallel lines. What is the formula we said? Distance is C1 minus C2 by root of a square plus b square, right? And modulus. So we'll take this is C1. You notice a and b is same. These first two terms are same. Only these numbers are different. So this will become C1, this will become C2. C1 is 3, C2 is minus 7. Divided by root of a square plus b square. A is 1, b is 2. So 1 square plus 2 square. So we'll get 10 by root of 5. You can write this as root of 5 into root of 5 into 2. Right? 10 can be written as 5 into 2. And 5 can be written as root 5 into root 5 is 5. And into 2. So 1 root 5 will get cancelled. So you'll get 2 root 5. So distance is 2 root 5 units. Let's not forget to put the units here. Now let's take another problem. Find the equation of lines parallel to this particular line, which is at a distance of 3 units. So you have two lines. You have two parallel lines. Equation of one is given. You have to find the equation of the other. Equation of L1 is given, which is 4x plus 3y is equal to 10. You have to find this equation, and distance between these two lines is 3. Now, we know the equation of parallel line. What is the equation of parallel line? Same thing, 4x plus 3y plus k. We have to put plus k. Only the number will vary, right? And remember one thing, you have to get 10 to the other side, so it will become minus 10 is equal to 0. Equation should always be in this form, right? And the parallel line equation will be this. Now we have to find the value of k. So distance is given. What is the distance formula for parallel lines? C1 minus C2 by root of a square plus b square. Now C1 is minus 10. This is C1 minus 10. And C2 is plus k, right? C2 is k plus k. Here you have minus sign. So minus 10 minus k. Now again, when you take square root, it's going to be plus or minus. It's always going to be plus or minus when you take square root. So first you calculate with plus 5. Assume it's plus 5. So you simplify. 3 into plus 5 is 15. Right? Then you will get k as minus 25. Next time you do the same thing with minus 5. Minus 5. So you will get k as 5 here. So now you will get two equations. Once with minus 25 as k and plus 5 as k. So two equations. So here instead of k, you can put plus 5 or minus 25. So two equations. Let's look at another problem. Find the distance to the point of intersection of the lines. There are two lines given. You have to find the intersection point, and from that point you have to find the distance to this line. So you have two lines here, L1 and L2. There is a point of intersection. From this point you have to find the distance to this line, L3, right? So this is 8x plus 6y plus 5 is equal to 0. And this is L1, this is L2, this is L3. So like in the other problems, we have to find the intersection point first. If you know the point, you know the line equation, then you can use the perpendicular distance formula, and then get the distance. So first you find the point of intersection between these two lines, right? You'll get y value and x value. Remember one thing, you have to get this in the form ax plus by plus c. So shift this here, so it'll become minus 21, right? And here it's plus 11. And when you're solving the equations, right, when you're trying to find the intersection point, both should be in the same format. Here you have equal to 21, here you have plus 11 equal to 0. So shift this here. When 11 comes this side, it will become minus 11, like this, right? Both should be in the same format, right? And then you find the point of intersection. You'll get y as 5, x as 3. So point of intersection is 3 comma 5. This point of intersection is 3 comma 5. From this point to this line, you have to find the distance. So you use a distance formula, right? This one, ax1 plus by1 plus c by root of a square plus b square. So now you'll use the distance formula. What is the line? This is the line, right? This one, this third line, 8x plus 6y plus 5. Use this line, put the point of intersection here. We had got 3 and 5. This one, 3 and 5. And then you'll get the distance. Distance is nothing but 59 by 10 units. Don't forget to put the units here.
With this, we've come to the end of this particular video. If you have liked this video, do press a like and share it. Thank you.